I'm gonna get it right one day. Hey, remember how many times you used to do the messages for your voicemail? It goes something like this. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for locking into another episode of I'll Piss You Off Shortly. This is the podcast where we debate everyday issues, pushing your thought process beyond what's normal. The topics discussed here are meant to be intense, promote growth, and at times may have you feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Me too, a little bit. We may not always agree, and we will more than likely have varied opinions. But with that being said, I can't promise to be your favorite podcaster. Neither do I want to. But I can promise to be transparent, fair, and open-minded. So please, if you think you've got the stamina, passion to debate, analyze, and challenge the normal, please take a number. I promise you, I'll piss you off shortly. Hey, mama, I got a podcast. Hey, I got a podcast. Hey, I got a podcast.
How dare you speak out on injustices, you black son of a bitch! You were funny until you start bringing politics into the situation. Now you're just stupid. I should just come over there and kick your ass. Darky, you're such an idiot. You're so stupid. You're a disgrace, man. You should be ashamed of having your own opinion, you black asshole. How about Black Lives Don't Matter, asshole? Your 14 years of service is stupid because my opinion matters. N-I-G-G-R, 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 and there his name out. America.
What is good, everybody? What is going on? I love that video. That clip is true to like definition of what it feels like sometimes to speak to conservatives right now. And shout out to my guy Yusha. What's crazy is he's a former vet. And I decided to play this video today because it is all about us veterans today. And Joe, we'll add Joe because we're not gonna veteran shame around here. Service shame. There you go. Service shame. We're not gonna service shame today.
I was in the Boy Scouts. Just
See, okay,
so
here
we're
we go.
clear. I served my country as a boy.
There you go. And just to be clear, we play on equal playing fields because guess what? Just as the Boy Scouts got played with, me and Obi were just discussing in pre-production how sometimes military dudes get played with too. So it's the even playing field. See, we are not service shaming here. Everybody, welcome to I'll Piss You Off Shortly. I am your host, your favorite, non-favorite host with the most, Rob Benjamin, with my host, Joe Aguirre. And then we have a special guest in the house today, also another part of the CMG family, Ovi Muniz. Say what's up, Ovi. Tell everybody what's up with you. I would give you a dope-ass intro, but I'm not going to hype. I'm going to let everybody else believe the hype, so go ahead with it.
No, it's all good. Hey, hello, everyone. My name is Ovi Muniz. I produce and host the HSW Show podcast with Joe and also All Four Down. So every Tuesdays, HSW Show at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we just moved our time at 7 o'clock p.m. Wednesdays for All Four Downs as we cover everything about college football and in the future, XFL.
Ooh, so you get the best of both worlds holding it down in the sport industry with Ovi right there. Actually, Ovi's the one that's between Ovi and Tyler, but you know what I mean, you guys' shows got me back into like interested in wrestling now. And now it's hard because I used to just be like, yeah, WWF, and then of course I went to WWE, and then I slowly fell off, and now I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go back into it. There's like 20 different brands of wrestling now. So I'm like, damn, I got so many to choose from. So I've been super hype about that. And of course, college football. I love your guys' podcast because it feels like I'm in the NCAA football game realm, but it's just podcast world. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I might not be able to play the NCAA football on the system anymore, but your guys' show really puts me in the zone. And if anybody didn't know, it's Go Gators all day, baby.
Oh, what? What? We really gonna start the show like this?
Go Gators, baby.
Nah,
hey,
man, them Bulldogs are gonna crush them.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
matter of fact, you could be on my podcast when the Bulldogs and the Gators go at it. We're definitely gonna preview on that one.
Definitely. I think that's the one I'm gonna
Look
be
at
locked
Joe
in
smiling
for
over
because,
there.
like, you know what I'm saying. Even though our head coach has COVID right now, but he's gonna shake it off like Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like Trump's,
Yeah.
shake it off like Trump, and we're gonna come back
Is that
better
the
than
same
ever.
guy that wanted everybody for a home field advantage? Is that
Yes.
that
Yeah.
guy? Oh
Yeah.
Yes,
It's the same
yes,
guy.
it is.
It's the same guy.
It's funny, Rob. I literally was insulting Coach Mullins just this past Wednesday night for his statements. He was trying to blame their loss on the
Oh,
fact that they didn't have a crowd, and
yeah.
I suggested that the problem was his lack of defensive stops.
I agree with you.
Maybe focus on X's and O's and stop worrying about the tickets, you dummy.
I don't know for how long it's been sucking to be a Gator fan for the simple fact that we just don't know how to tackle. We don't know basic fundamentals when it comes down to defense. We don't. We're still trailing. We're still trailing a receiver instead of cutting them off on a direct path. We're still not doing fundamentals of tackling. We can't do a simple breakdown. We can't see basic coverage. So yeah, it sucks, but still, go Gators, baby. I would say Gator bait, but apparently that's still controversial. So it is what it is. We eat dogs all day, but I do have an Old English bulldog, so I'm kind of biased, I guess, a little bit. But anyways, going back to these conservatives. I initially decided to come into this kind of full strong ahead, saying grouping every conservative and kind of like that far right wing. But graciously, I've been introduced to a young conservative recently, which I think I will be on. I know I'll be on one of the episodes, just trying, I don't know when it will release, but Connor, he's also part of the CMG family. But I think, and his insight that recently talking to him when I did his episode, he kind of put me into a thought process of that with conservatives, a lot of these younger conservatives, they're just following a trend. They're following and I would kind of also align that with the Black community following Democrats, just because when I was growing up, my family would just be like, vote Democrat. That's all we know, right? But even in that sense, they followed Trump as a trend because it was a hype of things that they thought their parents believed in or what they thought they believed in. And then Trump bamboozled them. But being the younger generation, I think that them versus the older conservatives, they're starting to be more open-minded and sit there. I think they might be more open to sit there and say, you got us. And we're not going to continuously be tricked by you guys. You know what I mean? If we want to have those Republican views, which some Republican views are great, some Democratic views are great, but to have those outlandish views by somebody that's definitely not a true Republican, I think they're going to be the ones that kind of change and revamp the Republican Party. That's where you're going to start to see the shift. And hopefully the old heads, there's not enough of them to really make an impact. So I think talking to him, it shows that the conservative mindset isn't necessarily set in stone. I guess that's where I was trying to get at. What do you guys think? No.
I mean, you know me. I've got a ton to say. I wanted to give OV a chance to. I want to give OV a chance to express his opinion.
I want to say I was guilty. I was one of those, and I have many views.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say I'm conservative. I won't say I'm liberal. I see whatever. I'm a make sense type of guy. All right, and yeah, I'm suspect because in the sense I didn't want Hillary Clinton to win for other reasons. So I said, well, if you vote, you're really not winning. It doesn't matter who's going to take off. Things were going to go downhill. All right. But what Trump said back in 2016, and the first thing that caught me off guard was him, talking about Latinos. For one, he has no respect whatsoever, calling Mexicans rapists and everything else. Then I said to myself, you know what? Maybe he's playing the game. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's getting all that attention because this ain't the first time Trump ran for office. Almost every election, he started it, then he dropped out. Then he dropped out. And now this time he's trying to play the game. So I said, maybe he's doing it that way. I give him a pass. Let's see what's going to happen. But as the years went by, things have just gone. It's going south. Let's put it that way. His leadership sucks. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And what president always got to be on Twitter or on social media just ranting off of bullshit?
Somebody that really has too much time in their hands, because I'll tell you right now, I'm unemployed, but currently seeking employment, as well as running, I'll pitch you off shortly and merch and all that. I can't tell you how much I don't have time for social media. So you as a president, you shouldn't have time to touch a phone, let alone think of a tweet. So you're completely right with that.
I get into, I won't say arguments, I get to debates about, President Trump, what he said is true, fake news here and there. What is considered news? What's considered fake news? Like, who knows what's really going on? Like right here, I'm comparing CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, all these other channels and stuff like that just to see, all right, somebody please tell me what's the real deal that's going on in our country.
Trying to piece it all together.
And we can't even get that right because the media is going to have people persuade in different directions.
Okay, now I feel like I need to jump in here.
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
So here's what I would say. Okay, we are at a point in this country where, of course, we struggle with what fake news is, because we are at a point where the right has introduced alternative facts, like the Bowling Green massacre, a terrorist attack Kelly Conway talked about that didn't exist, never happened. Facts don't care about your feelings, yet they don't bring facts to the table.
Exactly.
They talk about, well, it seems like crime is up, even though the FBI crime index shows that it's actually down. Antifa feels like a real organization, even though Trump's appointed FBI director said there's not an organization. I mean, this guy would love to go get that organization, wouldn't he? Trump would be kissing Chris Wray's ass. It would behoove Chris Wray to find the membership card for Antifa. There just fucking isn't one. But Republicans kill. But what about? I'm tired of it. I was a Republican my entire life. I don't like it. I don't like where it's going. Again, and this isn't me. I'm not endorsing the Democrats by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
not doing it. Not doing it. I'm not going to talk about Obama. I'm not going to talk about Bush. I'm not going to talk about Hillary. I'm going to talk about the guy who's in office, who's literally doing the job. That's the only person I care about. I didn't vote for Obama, so you can't throw Obama in my face. But I see a shitty president who's disrespected the office, who's disrespected the country, who's disrespected veterans, Gold Star families, judges, senators. I mean, not Vladimir Putin, incidentally, which the Russian hoax. Give me a break. There's more to the story, and we all know there's more to the story. Just because Bob Mueller didn't find a love letter from Putin to Trump doesn't mean that we all know shit happened, because it did. And I struggle to argue with people who won't grant facts.
I think the most important part is that our country is facing a division, and we need that leader to put us all back together.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see that leader in the first 4 years. But I think his beliefs and his cabinet are going to build that next leader. So it might be Kamala, it might be somebody in the next forefront. Who knows? But hopefully this is our next platform to at least get rid of this Trump stench. It's a stench. Like, we got to shake it off and like take like the illest like year-long shower, at least it feels like, just to get
that dust off.
Yeah,
what did Jay-Z say? Dust problems.
Yeah, you got to dust your shoulders off. You know what I'm saying? But because it's literally a trumpet. I call it a trumpet cult. Like a bunch of trumpets, and all the trumpets, they're just getting played. Press a little button, and they just let out a bunch of nonsense noise because it doesn't sound good. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Hopefully, if he loses, I know I'm going in. Going super end. I'm playing YG and Nipsey fuck down Trump like for like a whole year straight. That's all. I think that I might even just take the copyright claim and just have that be the whole like intro for like a good 6 months style. Piss you off shortly. Just fuck down Trump, just because I can like say it, and like anybody, and I know that's gonna make so many conservatives salty. And I just want to be a troll for a little bit. That's all. the same way they troll us.
Well, sure. And, I struggle with this too, though. When the president got sick and, I told my whole entire family, my wife was very excited about it. And I was like, don't be rude and don't wish bad on the president. And I tear that guy up as much as anybody, but I know people who have had COVID and, no, it's got a 99.8% recovery rate. For about 10% of people, there's long lasting effects. For 30% of people, there's actually a lung problem that we don't know yet whether it's permanent or not. So you're not a doctor, you're an idiot. Shut your mouth.
Not fair.
Again, look, we're at a point where you nailed it on the head, Ovi. We're very divided, and I just got a lot of heat for the political show that we just did for stereotyping Trump supporters. I've had some people that's wrong, that's rude, that I did that. They're super salty. They get their feelings are hurt. They'll talk about liberals. They'll talk about, I don't want Venezuela. Like they literally think that Democrats want to have what Venezuela has. And you're supposed to honestly debate those people like they're intelligent people. I can't do that. I'm like, you guys don't really think that. Come on, we're smarter than that. I know when they say defund the police, they don't mean that they don't want police. Stop being so fucking obtuse. Like I know these people know the difference. But just like people in a cult or a religion, it's hard to tell people, like, you've been bamboozled. Nobody wants to admit that they're wrong. Nobody at the end of the day wants to admit they're wrong. And that's why I have all the respect in the world for Dr. Anthony Fauci. A man who about every month or so comes out and is like, well, I looked at all the data. I was wrong. Here's what we got to do now to save our lives.
But that's medicine.
Donald Trump called him an idiot today.
Which is...
Imagine the fucking balls of being like... I mean, to be Donald Trump and to talk about somebody like Dr. Fauci and call that guy an idiot, that takes some fucking balls.
He's cynical. He's senile. He's the moron. He's the idiot. So, like, literally, what else are you gonna do? Like, when you have nothing else to do, you're just gonna sit there and call everybody else any kind of name you can because you're going down. Like, you're literally trying to do everything that you can as you're just falling. And he's already given us his plan. We already know the moment if we don't grab him, if whatever agency doesn't grab him, literally at the change or whatever, he's gone. He will be in Russia. He will be somewhere else, and they will never be able to prosecute his ass.
Well, I was laughing. He said yesterday at a rally, if Biden won, he'd probably have to leave the country.
No shit.
And again, I think that's just one of those thoughts he's having. Like, well, I mean, if I lose, I'm going to be indicted. I better leave the country.
You think
everything he says about Joe Biden applies to him, whether it's not being able to produce a coherent sentence, whether it's a health thing, whether it's his creepy demeanor towards women. All the things he accuses Joe Biden of are things about him. I mean, it's mind-blowing. And I'll tell you, I mean, I have a lot of Republican friends. I have a lot of friends that support Donald Trump. And I love those people. And I understand that they don't want to admit that they're wrong. And they'll come up with 8,000 different excuses because nobody will ever say, I mean, Rob, think about old people, how old people get taken advantage of, right? Your grandma's, your mama will tell you, right? And my mother's 75 years old. So my mom will get bamboozled out of some money by some swindler. I wouldn't hear about that for like a year.
Yep.
She doesn't want to admit that happened.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to look stupid. You got bamboozled. I mean, what? 22 million people donated to have a wall built through Steve Bannon. They kept your money, dummies. They kept your money. Mexico's not paying for it. You're not paying for it. There is no wall to be had. It's a joke.
Just for Trump and all his people to get paid and all the people that he has needed to pay. Guess what? He hasn't been able to pay people. So guess what? The people that he needs to pay, if you start looking to those funds, they've just now started getting paid. Through funding of wall building, because the same people that are building the wall are the same people that, guess what, have been helping him build properties. Bingo! But
by the way, the face of that organization was an Iraq war veteran who had lost his leg.
Oh yeah.
They pimped that guy on TV under the rather than hey let's have a drive so we can get this guy a fucking leg. and that we can get prosthetics for our soldiers who we've seen ripped apart by IEDs. Rather than that, it's, hey, you give me your fucking money so we could build a racist wall. And then the big joke, there is no wall. We just want your money, you fucking idiots. And you all turned it over like idiots. Admit you've been conned. It's okay.
And
it's okay. We could come back strong in 2024. Let's get our shit together. Let's get rid of Mitch McConnell and all of these obvious corrupt people like Lindsey Graham and that other douchebag, Paul. Let's get rid of these people. Let's bring in some real conservatives. Let's start this shit over, and let's see if we can't do right a second time through.
I can add a note too. Mark Rubio and Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz is
we Hispanics. We don't want them in Congress anymore.
I'm
backstabbers. You talk smack about Trump, and then you lose to Trump, and then you want to be on his ticket.
I got a real problem with that.
I got a problem with that.
All of them.
Dude, this totally disgraced your family, put you down. You want to defend yourself. Oh, my family came from Cuba. Or my family came from Mexico to go to provide food. And look, here I am. And yet, you're going against Trump. He trash talking you. You lose. But hey, you're on his side. Come on now.
I don't know. We got to get a really hardcore conservative on here, because I think that somebody that really I really like a hardcore conservative that really believes their shit doesn't stink. And that really thinks that they can really like have and stand 2 hours of just back and forth, because I believe that there's really no conservative out there that can sit down and have a genuine conversation, that can't leave this conversation and be like, you know what, you're right. Yeah, hell, look at it. Previous on Divided We Stand. I honestly think that Connor will be looking at. I don't know if he's going to change the way he votes, but I think he's going to be second guessing himself. At least be taking a good strong look at how he votes and what he does with his vote. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this turns out. I really didn't want to go too much on Trumpito, because before we know it, I don't think we're going to be talking about him too much longer. Can
I just make one last point then before we move on? This is just a straight up party over country. Gallup released a poll earlier today. Trump has a 92% approval rating in the GOP. For all those Republicans who are, I'm against Trump, doesn't look like it. It looks like you're going to do what you did in 2016. You're all going to vote for him, despite the fact that you said that you didn't. And all I can do is say, I hope that the independents come out in full force for the Democrats. And I hope that the Democrats are able to motivate their lazy base to come out and not allow the Republicans to continue what they're doing to this country. I think a complete repudiation of the Republicans. I want to see the Democrats take the House, the Senate, and the White House, because I would like for the Republicans to huddle up and be like, where do we go wrong? Lindsey Graham, a couple weeks ago, we talked about this, Rob, but I want to share this with OV. He was on Fox News begging for money. His campaign's getting killed. He's in a virtual tie with an African-American veteran named Jamie Harrison. And Lindsey Graham said to Sean Hannity, he said, these people hate me, talking about his constituents. And I said to Rob, shouldn't Lindsey Graham be looking in the fucking mirror and saying, why does half of South Carolina hate me? Am I doing something wrong? And we're not seeing that. We're not seeing that from the Republican Party at all. And that, again, as someone who was a longtime supporter of that party, I find that disheartening and disgusting.
He's changed a lot, man. He's changed a lot.
It's too bad.
There's... I don't want to talk about that dude, man. He from the start of his career and looking now, like I said, he's got that Trump virus. That's what it is. Or give me another name for this virus, because that and
China virus is
because you said right there 92%, but they say, oh no, we're not supporting him, blah blah blah, and you're right. You're right. They just lying right in front of you, right on TV too.
Do you remember after the grab him by the pussy tape, Paul Ryan, who was at the time the Speaker of the House and head of the Republican Party, he was like, I'm not going to vote for Trump. Really?
Really?
Who are you going to vote for? Gary fucking Johnson or Hillary? fuck off, you liar. He was like, how could I look my daughters in the face and vote for Trump? Well, tell us, Paul, how did you do it? How did you muster the fucking courage to vote for a rapist? How
Kaylee
did you do
Macaroni.
it? You're a fucking hero.
Remember
You're a
Kaylee
hero.
Macaroni said the same thing. She said, "Oh, he's so nasty. He's so appalling. He's so disgusting." But what did Kaylee Macaroni do? She works for him and co-signs for him. I know it's like McAfee, whatever her name is, but I call it Macaroni. You know, I don't put too much interest into her Karen ass name.
Opportunists are opportunists, and they don't care who you are or what your message is. If they see an opportunity for themselves, they're going to take it. Candace Owen, another great example of that. Sarah Sanders. The list goes on and on and on. There are so many people. You know, it's a shame. Last point I'll make. General Mattis and General Kelly. You know, what a terrible disgrace to this country. The both of them could both certainly shed some insight on the complete incompetence of Donald Trump as commander-in-chief. John Bolton says they've got information. There's others in the White House who were like, you should hear what John Kelly and General Mattis have to say. And I understand that they want to seem impartial, but as former military men and no longer military men, they have a duty to this country. If they feel like the president of the United States is not capable of handling our nuclear weapons, they should make that known to everybody. And because I have a great deal of respect for both of those guys, a lot. And I appreciate that General Kelly took on that impossible task of trying to keep this asshole on task. And he's got things he should be telling us. And I don't know if it's a loyalty to the president or a loyalty to the military, but the loyalty should be the United States and to the United States public.
You know, and I agree with you. I think that whole accountability thing is super key when you think about having that responsibility of like the nuclear codes, right? I look at like my military responsibility and how many boards and freaking schools I had to go to just for them to think that I was okay enough, right, to go to the next level. And then when you get to a certain level, when you get to a certain rank, when you get to E6 to E7, you don't even get a chance to present yourself. It's a piece of paper that's representing you, right? Yeah, so there's so many different pillars of, you know what I mean, of what you have to accomplish just to be able to lead a company, be a first sergeant, lead a platoon for that fact. But this guy has no qualifications and has been able to have the codes, nuclear codes, have the power to, you know what I mean, send in, you know, forces and all that. Like, it's disgusting. It's a disease. And I hope, like, who do we hold accountable? Like, I hope that everybody that, if they happen to make it over this Trumpito disease, right, this Trumpito virus, all these people that are in office or whatever, if they still have jobs, I hope everybody holds those same people accountable for fucking up the government and fucking up this country the way they have supported all that shit for the past 4 years. Definitely hold them motherfuckers accountable. But yeah, that's all I got to say for that nasty man. I know who I do want to hold accountable though. I do want to hold up accountable. Always nice show. Do we have some footage to show the people? Nice little.
Oh, yeah, we do. I would just like to point out that a few weeks ago, Jace said that Mac Jones was garbage.
Hurry up here for Alabama. Play action. Mac Jones wants it all. Long ball, man there. Got him. Mechie, touchdown.
I'm not sold on Mac Jones.
In the red zone, Alabama with 3 minutes and change remaining in the half. Jones fires to the corner. Devontae Smith. Touchdown, Alabama.
Hey, like that is.
I was telling Joe, that's only half of it. I had like a minute and a half of total, right?
Hey.
So I had to make it as a commercial. So there was a couple of more comments that Jace made, and then I had the last input because I believe Mac Jones is a front runner for the Heisman. Mm-hmm. Now, again, I'm just comparing to the schedule to what Alabama's playing compared to Clemson. Yes, Trevor Lawrence, you know, he should be on top, and it's him to lose, just like Joe said on the show. But Mac Jones is looking like Jones, you know. But it's still plenty of football. But I can't wait till Wednesday because I really want to hear Big Jace and how he's going to defend himself. So he
Okay.
said he was going to eat his own words. I'm just going to see if he will do it this Wednesday. So we'll see.
Hey, make sure you guys watch and listen. All 4 downs. Now it airs every Wednesday, right? Where
Right,
you guys
every
record.
Wednesday.
There we
Every
go.
Wednesday live, and then they can follow us on Apple, Spotify, Google, all that stuff. That very next day it'll be published. And I want to say congratulations to Joe for winning this week with Sean. He finally won something. It only took him like maybe 6 weeks, but he started to
Give it up to
understand
the
college
G-Man.
What'd I
football.
do?
Yeah,
How'd I do? I killed it this week, didn't I?
yeah, sure, yeah.
I killed
You
it.
won.
I killed it, and I did. I tell you
just
what.
won. You ain't. Killing's an overstatement.
All right.
You're just fine.
All right,
Say you
fine.
won.
I've been saying all year Bama was better than Georgia, and that Mac Jones is a baller.
Okay.
And I feel really good about those statements in the aftermath of the massacre that Bama laid on them Bulldogs.
It's not a massacre. It's not a massacre. We just have a short quarterback. He's a midget. It was proven. But
Okay.
they will see each other at the SEC championship. You could talk to me later.
Ooh, sounds good. Say, hey, make sure you guys follow up.
I'm going to say it right now on the show. I'm going to say it right now. I think Georgia will definitely get closer in the rematch. They'll only lose by 2 touchdowns.
I disagree. I think Georgia will win just to clinch the spot in the college playoff, and we're going to see 2 SEC teams. And the fact that Big Ten will not complete their season, making that happen.
Ooh, okay. Oh, here we go.
Frank knows
It's
what's
good.
up.
Hot. Frank
He
knows
knows.
what's going on. What's up, Frank? All right, make sure you guys check all 4 downs every Wednesday. Every Wednesday live, and then every podcast platform the following day. Catch them on the audio version. All right, talking about podcasts, and you know what? I'm kind of getting over this Zoom StreamYard stuff. Like, it's all cool and whatnot, Joe, but I think I'll Piss You Off shortly needs a studio, or CMG needs like a studio. Like, we got to figure out some kind of way. It's been on my mind lately. I think it's coming around that time, and I think we might be seeing some upgrades. I'll Piss You Off shortly, because I think that my family's getting sick of hearing me yell and scream past 9 o'clock on Mondays, and then I feel like, my creativity just works so much better, and it's hard to like get the. I think honestly, congratulations to Ovi, because I think this is the earliest I've gotten a script together, and like to everybody for the show. So like, thank
Are
you
you
for
serious
pushing me.
right
Oh,
now?
usually like scripts like day of, and like I start what.
I just asked you if I was gonna get,
And that's accountability. You know what I'm saying? That's not good accountability. But anyways,
It's funny. It's funny. Seriously, it's funny. We have well, tomorrow we'll officially have 30 shows on the CMG Podcast Network, which is pretty incredible and certainly no small feat. But the only 2 shows that consistently get me their script ahead of time and in a comprehensible presentation is the 2 military guys. You're the only 2 week in and week out, same stuff, bam, done right every time. Like, everybody else is just haphazard and whatnot. But
and I feel so bad. I feel so bad when it's late. I'm like, shit, because a lot of the times what happened is I'll sit here and I get so busy into the script. And a lot of times I'm doing the script at like 4:30 in the morning. So like I'm just going around doing my business. And then like 7 o'clock comes around so quick. And then once 7 comes, like the day starts. And then I'm like, shit, here I go. I got to get the little man situated. I got to do this, got to do that. But luckily, like I have a format now. So like, as you see with the script, like it's like kind of plug and play now. Like I have everything, put my notes, and I'm good.
Hold on, one more thought.
Go ahead.
I was thinking like a week ago, I was like, Sean, I was teasing him. Sean, he's another member of the All 4 Downs podcast. And I go, where's your top 25 and your top 5 for Heisman? I didn't get it on time. And I kept busting his balls, right? Because I literally tell him, yo, I need this by no later than Monday. So what does the guy do the following week? He gives it to me Monday at 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, dude, are you freaking serious? I just finished my show. I'm like the military man. He's AWOL right now. The hell with
Oh,
it.
yep, he's out
then
here.
he gives me this stuff. I'm like, damn it. So I'm here almost midnight, still trying to complete my script so I could like email to everybody, hey, this is what's going on for Wednesday. That mother, you know what? But anyways, he gave it to me on time yesterday, by the way, Joe.
About time. Yeah,
there you
sure.
go.
Be on point.
Kudos. See, I learned, like, even now, even for myself, I learned whether I'm telling like my girl or like anybody or making plans with somebody, I definitely give them like a day and some change. So like if it's Friday night, if I need something Friday, I'm telling you I need it by Wednesday night. So at least I know by Thursday morning, potentially I'll have it for you. At least it'll be like a day and a half before I need.
Hey, Frank, let me tell you something. Your scripts are suspect. I'm telling you right now, man. But that's another story, though. But he's best in stats. That's all I can say. Yeah.
I was gonna say we gotta do a script off. We're gonna have to see who has the best scripts in CMG. Like really, we got everybody just see, and we got to do like a vote. We're gonna have to just like kind of put out.
You color code yours?
Oh yeah, mine. You see mine. Mine's color coded, like time slots, everything. It's definitely. I can show you the progression of I'll piss you off script of like how shitty it looked to like where we're at now. Like that script is on fire.
I think Frank's got a new nickname.
Suspect script Frank.
Suspect script Frank.
S2F.
Suspect script Frank.
I'm gonna use that from now on. He got new nicknames.
Double SF. Oh shit, that's funny. Oh shit. But yeah, so like I was saying, like so I think see, but that's what I'm saying. Like everybody can't just keep taking over Joe's. I mean, I might just have to take over Joe's spot now next, or we're just gonna have to get it. What started it though was I need to find somebody that's good with carpentry because I not that I can't do it or not that I'm not willing to do it, but I definitely need an adult supervisor because I'm pretty sure like
hammers and nails. That's no good.
Yeah, no, I'm good with blowing it up, not putting it together. Right?
Absolutely.
But
I know how to distribute bullets, but nope.
Yeah,
I'll tell you both something I've learned. If you're going to use a hammer and nails, don't smoke beforehand.
See, and that's my problem. Like, I get so nervous. I gotta relax before I do a big project. So I need adult supervision in that aspect. But where it came from was like, so I've been, going down the YouTube rabbit hole, just looking at a couple things, trying to build my little what if studio list, right? And these live edge wood tables live in edge wood tables with resin or like the epoxy tables, those look so dope. And I'm like, oh, I want one. And then I saw the price tag for one. And I'm like, I don't want it that bad. I'm not paying $5,000 for a tabletop that I just seen buddy on YouTube make it for about $800, which is cool. I can, I'll invest in that. But yeah, so I want that kind of table. I want that in my little studio. So if CMG were to have a building and like I'll Piss You Off shortly had like a nice little spot, it would have a nice dope ass live in resin table. And I was just thinking about how I'm gonna build it. But now, since if we get this funding, I might just put a little garage in the back and it'd be I'll Piss You Off Studios. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the future. But that was my little.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
Oh, yeah. We'll figure it out. I thought.
Meanwhile, anybody's welcome to spend 6 hours in the basement.
Well, see, mine's up. Once I build mine in the attic, that's where I'll be at. So,
see, and that's where I'm at now. I'm in the attic now, and it's cool, but like, it has to be redone. Like, I really needed to be like, I still have like, if you could see what's in front of me, it's a disaster. So, like, you just gotta make. It's really not a disaster, but it's not comfortable, right? So, but like, I don't know how long we'll be staying here if we're gonna be moving or whatever, but. Yeah, I need to do a studio, and even then, like I have an excuse to get away, like from the yeah, babe, I'm just gonna go to the studio and get away. Even if I'm not doing the work, I can sit there, do what I do my little research, chill out, and hey, if anybody wants to come kick it from the CMG family, you know what I'll be doing, taking my medicine and doing some research.
The only thing I'm reluctant about is ever since this quarantine started, I am in my fucking glory. I'm not going to lie to you.
See, you got it though.
I mean, like I have a full to not only like this is my radio, like voiceover air, like the other side of this room is an entire television production studio. There's like 3 workstations in here. This is a pretty big room. And there's a lot going on here, like for sure. So we'll talk.
See?
We'll talk.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely.
The idea of going somewhere close away is cool.
Yeah.
The idea of driving like 20 minutes, less appealing. But if it was something local,
yeah, if I could get 10 minutes away,
yeah.
I'm totally cool with that. Totally cool. It doesn't have to be nothing big, nothing crazy at all. Because I know how to build a wall. I know how to build a little studio spot.
Oh, you know how to build a wall?
Build the wall.
I can build a wall
Build
better than
the
the
wall.
guys. Oh, you know, you know how to build a wall. You know how many in the chews. You know, you had to separate ourselves in the tents and the chews. You know what I'm saying?
No. You say you know how to build a wall. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my walls cost though. My walls cost. I'm not. No, my walls really cost. I'm actually gonna do some real labor. You know what's bullshit about that too? There was like, oh, build the wall, and then guess who they sent for like security and labor hands? Oh, the Army Corps of Engineers, the Corps of Engineers. Yeah, they didn't see that overtime. Guess what, buddies? We don't get overtime in the military. You stupids. Oh man,
I wish.
All that military.
That's the
all
same group that that's the same group that designed the levees in New Orleans.
I think so. I wouldn't put my.
I just wanted to point out some of their fantastic work previous.
Shit. Talk about New Orleans. I was looking. In my head, I was talking to some of my boys. I wanted to do a guys trip, and it's just like you can't really go anywhere other than the States. But it's just like even in the States you can't. So I was looking at like different areas. You could travel to New Orleans, and they have like some nice mansions, like those nice southern like plantation mansions for dirt cheap now. I was like, it would be nice to get like a guy's trip, just like a mature guy's trip, not like a guy's trip where everybody's trying to do hangover shit. But like you sit in a big ass house with a bunch of grown men, just talk your sports shit, maybe watch some sports in a house, drink, smoke, do whatever you want, and just sit there and be guys for a fucking weekend. I haven't. Have you guys ever did a guy's trip before?
We did. I went to Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
So we went there, was in the woods and stuff like that. I think a cabin, it was like 5 bedrooms, not including, 5 bedrooms going around. In the middle was the living room. Yeah, we had a little kitchen and stuff, but it was get away from everybody, dominoes going, sports, whatever. And it was a fun time, man, just to relax. Don't hear mama yapping no more and dealing with the kids, all that drama. It was just people, and then we would just roast each other.
Exactly.
And it's chill. Then the other guy's trip is my guys. We used to go to different baseball parks.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to tag along with my crew. We went to Houston. We went to Fenway Park and stuff like that. But we were planning on going to St. Louis and Kansas City. But apparently, because of COVID and everything, we had to nix it. But if you ever try to put like a list of goals what you want to do, So ours is we want to go to every baseball park all the way around the United States, just to say we went to all 30 of them. That's pretty cool, man.
That is really cool.
And that's the dope part. And that's funny. Nicholas just said he's been on a guy's trip, but not a mature one. But I haven't been on a mature one either. And that's what I'm saying. Like, what does to me past my 30s now? Like, to me, what does a guy's trip one look like? And then what does a guy's trip in 2020 look like? And pretty much what you explained, like, cool. But then I look at it compared to a girl's trip. I feel like guys' trips are way different from girls' trip. Like, they're out. They gotta go out. They gotta be seen. They gotta be da-da-da-da. But I feel like even when I was younger, I think the guys, we went out maybe one night. Like, we went out maybe one night. And then other than that, like, we went to a bar, shot the shit, and then we were at the house. Or we were out somewhere, like, just, you know what I mean? Not even, like, worried about chicks at the time. Whereas I feel like with girls' trips, they trying to be seen, trying to find a guy to, you know what I mean, support their girls and all that other shit. I don't know. Hands down, I think a guy's trip is better. I don't know. I'll say that.
My last guy's trip was me and a bunch of my buddies, and we played 117 holes of golf in Cape Cod. We hit 5 courses out of 6. We repeated one of them, and I mean it was just round the clock golf, and then smoking and drinking. Try to work in some lunch. And my family's got a house at the Cape, so we were barely there. I mean, we went there, we slept at night, woke up in the morning, and went and teed off and just golfed. It was mostly that. My buddy got a hole in one.
Oh, sweet.
Craziest shit I ever saw in my life. Hole in one.
I don't think I could
187
probably.
yards.
I was about to say, I
Crazy.
don't even think I could hit a golf ball probably 10 yards.
Mm.
I haven't played a lick of golf ever.
That's shocking, Rob.
Yeah,
Was it Happy Gilmore that Adam Sandler, when he first tried to do golf, he was digging a hole? Was it
Yeah.
that movie?
Yeah.
I
Here's
was
the
that
whole
guy.
thing.
I was
Look,
that guy.
let me explain golf to you in a nutshell. I've been playing golf for 23 years, and here's there's one trick to golf.
What's that?
Eye on the ball. Keep your head down. Keep your eye on the ball.
That's
See,
my
I've
problem.
heard that,
If
but
you-
I,
If you do
I'm
that
not.
consistently every single time, because of course the tendency is when you hit it and you think you hit it good, you want to like watch it. You want to see
Yeah.
where it's
Exactly.
going.
Yeah.
If you keep your head down every time, you'll hit the ball square every time.
Mine
unless
hooks
you're
straight.
just not athletic enough and you don't have the skill. But if your head's down and you're following through, every time I do it, the best rounds I have are the ones where I basically tie a string around my neck with a bell that just weighs me down so my head can't turn.
I got
It's a
chased
little
by
extreme, but I
security
tell
guy
you,
in
it's a good score. It works.
Yeah, so I got chased by a security guy because I took too long in a hole.
really?
Yeah.
See,
I mean,
and that's
it was like pop-up golf to me. I was like, eventually I'm gonna make it in a hole. It's not there yet, buddy.
excuse me, sir. Could you please hurry it up? Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. First of all, where do you know? I've once again, I've never played golf. Where do you know? Of course, you see the little flag, right? I assume
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
start. Okay,
Mhm.
that I figure like when I see this shit on TV, I'm like, how do you see that flag? Because it seems mad far away. But maybe since I've never really been at.
Oh,
So
sometimes it's 511 yards and it's a dog leg, so you can't even see the flag. You just have an idea of like if you hit it there, your second shot can go that way,
that way.
and you'll be near the hole. Yeah.
I thought it was like the PlayStation. I played Tiger Woods.
The
So
T.
you try to put it like over the tree.
Okay, yeah. That would be me. Like, let's go the shortest route. Let's see if I can hook it over that way.
So I could tell you right now, in 23 years, I've seen everybody try to go over the trees.
Nah.
Nobody can go over the fucking trees. I mean, what a
See?
joke that is. That is the most, dude. The only thing that's more horseshit in video games is like the helicopter jam from NBA Jam. Remember that shit?
Hell
The
yeah.
helicopter jam. No fucking way. Nobody can do that. Stop it.
You
No
can't
one's
make the
going
ball-
over the trees, and there's no helicopter
You
jams.
can't make the ball go on fire.
No.
Yo, I've seen balls go on fire like that. That I could buy.
But
From
not over the trees.
downtown.
From down.
He's on
Oh,
fire.
That's me all day at the basketball courts in Middletown every Sunday. Oh, doing helicopter spins and breaking my kneecaps.
There you
But
go.
no. So,
The
but no,
helicopter spins. I love it.
but no, I really like. So, would you? Okay, so question. So, would you do a guy's trip now and do like if somebody was like, "Hey, yeah, we would love to like set you and your friends up for a guy's trip, and we just got to record all of it for like however long." So, if you're going like a 4-day guy's trip, would you let like a network record your guy's trip?
Nope. Sorry. Nope.
No.
Absolutely not.
Okay, what if you had control, like editing control?
Then
Okay.
yes.
Yes, of course.
Dude, okay.
Lie?
As long as
I do that.
what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, yeah, that's fine.
I
As
mean,
long
just
as we
but
can-
you got to give
as long
some
as we
kind
can
of
leave some
content.
of it on the editing room floor.
Just as long I don't gotta babysit someone because there's always one bad apple in the crew.
Oh, I'm
that-
never the
that-
babysitter. Fuck that.
Nah,
No. No, I learned that from military days. Nah, if I got to babysit you, I'm not going. If you're one of those guys I have to that needs babysitting, I'm not going.
You know
because
those ones that drinks and then they can't handle
Yeah.
their alcohol. I'm like, get out of
I
here.
was at a bachelor party 5 years ago. We left a guy in Philly, and he's never been heard from since.
is he still alive? Wait.
Rob,
Wait, is this
Rob.
guy?
That guy's health is not any of my fucking responsibility nor my problem. He wanted to do one thing, and we were like, nah, dude, next on the itinerary. And he was like, I'm going back to the hotel. We were like, fuck off, go back to the hotel. By the time we got back to the hotel, nobody had seen or heard from him. So
Yo, so that's
I
scary.
never bothered following up because I didn't know him that well.
I'm just saying, I know what goes down. Well, I don't know what goes down in Philly, but when I was younger, and this is no ploy, everybody knows I love everybody. But we were younger. We were at the NAACP AXO convention. We were performing or whatever, and we're sitting there. We snuck out the hotel because we were supposed to have chaperones. It's late at night. We went to go meet up with some chicks, right? Oh God, I just saw Frank's thing talking about he just ended up divorced.
Must have been one hell of a trip, Frank.
Jesus, Frank. But anyways, long story short, we're going out. We hit the alleyway trying to meet up with these chicks, and this dude that comes out, he has a basketball jersey, some jeans, and some Timberland boots, and it's 3 guys and him. He hits the corner and goes, "Yo, is that your dude?" And we was like, "Huh?" He's like, "Nah, is that your dude?" We was like, "No, yeah, that's my boy. Like, that's my best. Like, we're friends." He was like, "Nah, is that your boyfriend? Because I want to holler at him."
Oh.
I was like, "Oh no, we're going back to the hotel because this is a dark alley and we're in Philadelphia and we're not supposed to be out." Yo. And I was like 15 at the time. Like, and he was talking to one of my friends back in the day, and for you guys left him in Philly, and I'm sure that was earlier back, early 90s probably or early 2000s. Yeah, nah,
early 2000s. Yeah.
See, yeah, and that was about the same time. So yeah, scary time. I can only imagine what happened to that dude. Oh,
I got a culture shock one time. So when I joined the military in 95, August of 95, went in there, graduated in December. My first duty assignment is Texas.
Yep.
I remind you, I'm here from New Britain, Connecticut. So all I know is hip hop, Spanish music, all that good stuff. At least that's what I thought. That was the only type of music, really. I mean, yeah, there's country and all that. I'm like, nah, that's not me.
That's the only shit that matters.
So, yeah. So I got to my new unit, and there's this guy. He came from Korea. He was Colombian. And he goes, "Hey, man, you want to go to the club?" I was like, "Yeah, I go to the club." So I get dressed. I'm thinking to go to the club. As soon as I step out to the hallway in the barracks, he comes out. And this guy's dressed in a cowboy hat, starched shirt. His belt is like the heavyweight champion of the world.
Big ass.
His jeans are so tight. I don't know if he could breathe in them. And he had pointy boots. And then he has the nerve to tell me, "Oh, people just like you. Don't worry about it."
Nah.
I'm like, what?
He set you up for failure.
And, well, at the time, I was 18, and he needed a designated driver. So I said, "I got you." No. So I drove his Bronco. Yes, the Bronco.
Was it white? Was it white?
Yes.
Yes.
Gotta be a white Bronco.
I had to drive like this just to go straight. So I go like maybe
before
45
power
degrees left
days.
and 45 degrees right just to drive straight.
Yeah.
Okay. So we get there, and I didn't hear no music. Like, there's a lot of cars parked, but as soon as he opened the door, and I'm like,
and they're having
what?
a good ass time.
Actually, you know what? I did too.
Oh yeah,
At first, I was laughing because I thought it was a movie like John Travolta, and I'm looking at everybody dancing in circles. I'm like, why is everybody dancing in circles? Why is everybody line dancing? And everyone's going, yeah, and I'm like, oh my God. And then after a while, I got served, even though I wasn't supposed to be served. I was underage, but everyone looked at me like I was old enough. So yeah, sure. Okay. And then I started learning. I learned how to two-step. I learned how to do the waltz and stuff. And next thing I was like, this is not bad at all. And I went a couple of more times. I was like, you know what? I enjoyed myself. But at first, I was looking at that place. I was like, no way. And then even there, I used to live next to a country club. And Frank Cuesta, when you post his comments, me and him went before. Okay. I used to live behind it. So we used to have 10-cent beers, Wednesday night specials. So that tells you how often I go out partying back in the days. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Every night was a special.
Oh, yeah.
And that was really special when they got to know me. So, hey, it is what it is. But great times, man. Great times.
Oh, yeah. I don't even want to talk about those military specials where you wake up and then literally you're like, oh, got to go to formation.
Yeah, get there at 4:30 and at 6:30 you got to do PT, physical training. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those are the days. Man. All right. So I guess what else we got going on this week? Man, anybody watch, anybody get a chance to see the clips from Senator Harris and Amy Coney Barrett?
I did.
And how beautifully, and I was gonna kind of intertwine this with the kind of the guy trip, just because like I was gonna say my guy trip was gonna be all fun until I had to answer to my black queen. And you know, nothing worse than having a black queen interrogate you or a woman of color interrogate you. So the fact that this woman of color and Senator Harris intimidated and just slaughtered Amy Coney Barrett, who everybody thought was like the pristine woman of, you know, conservative. She's supposed to be like the conservative queen for everybody. And Senator Harris, just in my opinion, had her shaking. Just like she had her shaking and looking like a real Karen, just scared to answer and just confronted. So I want to say kudos to Senator Harris for that.
Well, you know, look, I think Senator Harris and hopefully soon to be Vice President Harris has really done a good job in using her lawyer skills over the past 4 years to absolutely grill lots of conservatives, especially, but really anybody who isn't doing what they're supposed to do. I will say this about Amy Coney Barrett. She did answer all the questions properly, and you know, this thing should have probably been a lot more contentious than it was. Obviously the Democrats weekly just, this is a sham, but we'll just do it anyway, with little to no resistance. Amy Coney Barrett herself actually in 2016 said that a Supreme Court opening in the last year of a presidency, as you close in on an election, should be decided by the people and by the next president. So much like Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham and, you know, name another Republican here, they're hypocrites. And I think it's unfortunate because when Joe Biden becomes president, he's going to have no choice but to stack the Supreme Court to 12. It's going to have to happen. And I know Republicans are going to be super pissed about it, but you know, this goes back to a few years ago when, you know, Harry Reid and the Democrats invoked the nuclear option on justices, and then it got extended to Supreme Court justices, where you got Gorsuch just barely getting in there on a 51-49. I mean, this is the country that we're at, where everything is fractured, and it's not going to get any better because of all the rules that these guys have been fucking for years. We're literally going to end up in a really shitty spot here again, which I just think is really unfortunate. But if Amy Coney Barrett is anything like Gorsuch and Kavanaugh, I mean, they've done a really good job judicially in ruling in on behalf of the little guy. But we do know there's a whole bunch of religious liberty cases coming up, and that's where you're going to see these people exposed again, trying to protect their religion, trying to protect their way of life, and what they think that you as an American, what you think, what you believe. I'll give you one other one. I forgot to mention this even before on Divided We Stand, and I wish I had. I don't know if you saw Lindsey Graham's comment. He said at his last debate that he said, this is my favorite line: black people are free to go anywhere they want in Georgia as long as they're not a liberal. Because if you're a liberal, Rob, there's a rope and a tree, and he'd be happy to string you up. That's what I took from that. And I know we're going to talk about another comment he made a little bit later on that was equally racist, but it just goes to show that, look, dude, if you're over 50 and you're white and you're from the South, probably a lot of shit you're going to say is going to be a little bit racist. And I understand that. You grew up with that shit. I get it. We're trying to break you of it. You know, we're all a little bit racist. We all grew up a little bit racist. We've all been around somebody who told us that we should be racist. We've all had it. You know, we have.
Very much.
But it's a matter of, it's 2020. And we can objectively look at shit and be like, man, we just all treat each other like cool, right? Ovi, we have a rule on this show. It's the first and only commandment: thou shalt not be an asshole. Oh, if you can avoid being an asshole in all situations, the world's a much better place.
Yes.
Point blank, period.
I agree. I've heard it. I heard you say it many, many times.
Yeah. And you know, that was a big, you know, I think I would like to see if she was really true to what she was saying. She's here just to be a true justice of the court and not have to, put her religious beliefs and everything before anything like that. Like, it would be nice to hear her, one, not dodge anything, and two, not lie. And then also three, like, to actually understand or know what she's talking about when she couldn't even she doesn't even understand our 5 freedoms. So, like,
what are the 5 freedoms of the First Amendment?
Speech, religion, press, assembly. Speech, press, religion, assembly. I don't know. What am I missing?
Redress or protest.
Okay.
and she knew what she was missing.
Why is
Interesting,
there one
right? Yeah,
amendment
she
that
left
has
that
these
one out.
5 freedoms clustered. Why do they hang together?
I don't know what you're getting at on that one. You mean, like, what is the common denominator?
Yeah, I mean, why I'm getting back to the same idea that the Bill of Rights was sort of an attempt to do public catechesis. It was an attempt to say, we already believe in limited government, we the founders. That's the brilliance of the miracle at Philadelphia, despite all the failures to live up to our ideals. But the 1787, 1788 conversation was to say, we believe in limited government because we believe in the limitless rights of people. And so they didn't have a Bill of Rights, but later when they started spelling it out, it's sort of like they got jazzed up trying to work this out for the American people. This is amazing stuff.
I love how he's just like
wanted to hear
hyping
you
her,
reflect
but
a
like
little bit
still
on the
just like,
glories
you're
of the First
stupid.
Amendment, even though it wasn't needed as a part of the structure at the beginning.
Stupid
Once they
Karen.
added it, why 5 of them in the same amendment?
I don't know why, actually, as a historical matter, those were grouped. I'm sure there's a story that I don't know there about why those appeared in the First Amendment altogether rather than being split up in different amendments. I mean, assembly and protest and speech bear more relation to one another than necessarily free exercise, say.
No shit,
But
Sherlock.
I think,
We've already
he
he said
are
that.
in the First Amendment, and I think that reflects that those were core values. That reflects that the states who ratified the Constitution, the original Constitution, on the understanding that a Bill of Rights would be added, wanted protections like that to be included because they were really core to what the new Americans thought was going to be America.
Do you realize how she literally went around and said absolutely fucking nothing?
I don't want to sound like an asshole here, but I didn't realize how attractive she was until right now. And not literally
How old is
nothing
she?
that came out of her mouth. It was repulsive, but she's actually a very attractive woman. I guess I didn't realize that.
She
I
reeks
have
of
such a
Desperate
hard time
Housewives.
when she's got the bonnet on from the Handmaid's Tale.
She
It's
literally-
Easiest
this is
question.
two things. When anytime a politician is going to tell me what the founding fathers thought, or a religious person is going to tell me what's on God's mind, I'm going to call bullshit.
Shit.
I have to. You weren't in fucking Philadelphia in 1778, you fucker.
And if
You
she
don't know
was,
what
she'd
they
have a
were
scarlet
thinking.
letter.
You don't know what they were thinking. What are you talking about?
They were jazzing it up.
And it
That's what
doesn't
they were
fucking
doing.
matter what they thought. They thought a lot of
Jazzing it
shit
up.
that was wrong. They didn't think black people deserved to fucking be free and equal. What do you mean? So let's not act like these guys were fucking flawless. They're like, oh, these guys they know what they were doing. We should just follow
They're
the
the
shit.
founding
We should
fathers.
follow the shit these rich white fucking, most of them were fucking smugglers and criminals, by the way. Does anybody know why John Hancock's signature's like fucking bigger than his dick? Does anybody know why that is?
No, please tell
Do
me.
you know that John Hancock was a well-known smuggler?
Huh.
He was a bad fucking dude. And he was like, you know what? If you guys really want to get fucking King George, let him see my fucking name on this document. He'll really be pissed. That's
So-
why his name is so big.
Really? So it wasn't even like he did something amazing.
It was a fuck you to King George is exactly what it was.
And I believe
Dude,
it.
It would be like it would be like if fucking like I don't know if we filed for the Declaration of Independence and Steve Bannon signed it all big. Like you'd be like, that guy's in your group? Really? You guys aren't fucking around. You'll take anybody. You'll take the worst of the. Oh, you got Paul Manafort on there too. Wow.
Whoa.
What is this? Trump's
Y'all just taking
campaign?
anybody.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, dude, a lot of the guys that signed the Declaration of Independence were well-known people who had crossed paths with the king.
Oh, Jesus.
And but not for nothing, dude. Those guys weren't out there because they weren't thinking like, let's form a new country. They were thinking, let's get England out of our ass,
Yeah.
so that we can do things. It had nothing to do with anybody's freedom or any of that horse shit. The right to dude, they were just like, they said to the religious people basically. And if you know anything about Thomas Jefferson and Thomas Paine and the actual thinkers who put this country together, like Alexander Hamilton, and get over the rap shit, people. There's books about them. Read it. Lin-Manuel Miranda actually read a book by Ron Chernow, a great biography about Hamilton, and that's how he ended up writing the musical. So don't learn about Alexander Hamilton. Read a book.
Teach him something, Joe.
He's a fascinating guy, even without the rapping. What Hamilton and those guys did. An immigrant, by the way, not white. Alexander Hamilton. I know everybody likes to paint a picture with a white wig and all that shit, but not real.
See?
Yeah. So yeah. Listen, it was founded by criminals illegally because they didn't want to have to pay the king, and we're fortunate enough that the French and the Spanish were also at war with England, and that's the only reason we won. So let's cut the bullshit. This wasn't like again, if you listen to Hamilton, like the American experiment's about to be bullshit. It had nothing to do with that. It had nothing to do with that, dude. It was like the 80 or 90 plantation owners in the South and the few rich people up north, and fuck everybody else. And here we are, 200 whatever years later,
still the same
shit. Same shit, different day.
They were still jazzing it up 2 years ago or 200 years ago. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Just
all jazzing it up.
Just jazzing it up, baby.
Here's the thing, dude. It's
That's
like
my new phrase now. Just jazzing it up.
Jazz it up. Hey, we just declared independence from England. You're all free. Well, blacks, no. Women, no.
No.
White guy that doesn't own land, not yet. Bullshit, dude. That and there's actually conservatives in this country who want to be originalists, who want to literally take that document at face value and apply it to 2020. What? Why don't we fucking break out the Magna Carta and make that the new? Like, what are you even talking about? What are you talking about?
They don't fucking know.
How about a government? How about a government that represents the people from the beginning, all of them, not had to add them in later on?
But
how embarrassing! How embarrassing is it? Hold on, how embarrassing is it that we had an amendment to take alcohol away and put it back, and then we gave black people the right to vote,
and we still haven't legalized weed.
How about that, man?
Still haven't legalized weed. Jesus. I was just about to say, Frank just said, hell yeah, who needs history class when I can just listen to fucking Joe all day?
Joe,
like,
you should write a book. Definitely write a book, man.
Look at my boy, Quality Boy. He knows the story about John Hancock. See that? That's why we call it your John Hancock.
I thought
also the fact that it's called your John Hancock certainly goes a long way.
You had to do anything with my red meat?
When I first heard that, I thought that was the term, but I realized that it was the signature.
Yeah,
and it had to be big.
Yep.
Well, I'm willing to put my signature on anybody's hoodie or shirt or piece of merch that they get from I'll piss you off shortly.com. Of course, our lovely sponsor from I'll piss you off shortly.com/products and merch. You'll see all of our fall collection. We have the Equality is Greater Than Division hoodie. A couple people have asked me about that hoodie. If you didn't figure that out, sorry, you're slow, but hey, Equality is Greater Than Division. Yep, that's racist. Our favorite hoodies. Chris, yo, you haven't been watching the show, but you got some things to ship me. Some people are waiting for their merch, man. We got the blue and the Yep, That's Racist. We got a bunch, and then we got our original I'll pitch you off shortly merch as well, the hoodies, the tees. I think I need to update some merch too. I think the his America, then we got our mask as well. Those masks have to be updated as well. I put it's a new style as well. His America Crumble, those are actually going to come back. For anybody that has reached out for those his America is Crumbled are going to come back after Biden wins, though. After Biden wins. So those are going to be a special limited edition. So make sure you guys go check out. I'll pitch you up shortly. Fall collection, and grab you some merch. You guys are actually what's keeping some bills paid. I appreciate you guys, since unemployment can't do shit. But yeah, other than that, I guess it's time to go into Yep, That's Racist. I've been waiting to get into this too, because Lindsey Graham, if I could and I gotta watch what I say, because YouTube sent me an email today. Apparently, I was promoting violence on episode 13, which I gotta I gotta look back at that. They said I was promoting violence. I think I might have said I smacked the shit out of somebody, which I'm not promoting violence. I'm just speaking the truth. But I don't know. I gotta look at what I said. But anyways, Lindsey Graham, I'm gonna call you Lindsey Graham Cracker, because you're racist, old, devoured, pathetic, horrible, miserable, non-fundraising, bigoted, small dick, small-minded. Trying to think of every other insult I can think of. Your crotch probably fucking stinks. Everybody says your breath fucking stinks. I don't know. You're a fucking piece of shit. And if it was the good old days, guess what? Even if it was the good old days of segregation, I'd find my black ass over on your piece of land just to smack the fuck out you and Mitch McConnell. Because guess what? Lindsey Graham, I want to say back in 2015, your dumbass hated Trump. Your dumbass thought Trump was the repulse, was the thing that was going to bring down. Matter of fact, you predicted that Trump was going to bring down the Republican Party. And guess what the fuck he did? He brought it the fuck down. But guess what? You're swinging on his dick going down with the party. Now, what the fuck happened, Lindsey Graham? Oh, that's right. You can never build a thought process for yourself. You can never develop something for yourself. You have been one of the worst senators in the history of the United States, period. You racist, dirty, dick-having motherfucker. And I'm saying that because this is my shit, and I try not to cuss. But Lindsey Graham, you piece of shit. So
you've been asked a lot about Roe v. Wade and Casey, and one of the differences between Brown versus Board of Education and Roe line of cases is there's active litigation regarding Roe. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I think Senator Hirano named 8 or 9 different cases that may come up to the court, cases in controversy. And one of the reasons you can't tell us how you would rule is because there's active litigation coming to the court. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And one of the reasons you can say with confidence that you think Brown versus Board of Education is super precedent is that you're not aware of any effort to go back to the good old days of segregation by a legislative body. Is that correct?
That is correct. And I've also said that in lectures that Brown was correct as an original matter. So that is the kind of thing, since I've said it in writing, I felt like I could express before the committee.
Good old days. Everybody remember that.
And one of the reasons
the
you
good
can
old
say
days.
with confidence that you think Brown versus Board of Education is super precedent is that you're not aware of any effort to go back to the good old days of segregation by a legislative body. Is that correct?
That is correct. And I've also said that in lectures that Brown...
And her dumbass just fucking co-signed and not even listening to the whole fucking question. So yes, do you guys see why we have an issue, conservatives? Do you understand why we have an issue? Why we say that we literally have racists in legislature, in the fucking in Congress, whatever, in the Senate, right? In the government, still trying to bring us back to these days, right? But these are the people that y'all support, right? But Lindsey Graham's supposed to be. Wasn't Lindsey Graham also the same person that was so pissed off at Trump for being against veterans and having so much to sit there and say, so much bad shit to say about John McCain, and that he was such a piece of shit for, I think, right? Didn't he have some kind of loyalty to John McCain and what he was supposed to?
They were best friends and everything they had done together. But ever since his passing, he totally changed. So he's showing his true colors. He's a follower.
True follower. So I know me, right? I got a couple battle buddies that we went through the shit together, and we, you know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what our certain views are, we went through the shit. I have loyalty to them. I'm not going to say 100%, because if you do some fucked up shit, like, you know what I'm saying? That little 2% window of just, I can never trust somebody. But beyond that, I don't care. My best friend, once again, he's super conservative, but me and him been through some shit. I trust him. And if, you know what I mean? Nobody's going to be able to throw dirt on another veteran's name and then me fall ally with him just because, as a fucking follower. You called him a fucking jackass. This is the same. You called the president a jackass because of these views. And you're supposed to be a veteran your fucking self, you piece of shit. Like, where does your loyalty lie? Oh, that's right. Your loyalty lies where the money lies. Your loyalty lies to the person that knows everything that can bring you down. That's where your loyalty lies. You fucking piece of shit jackass. I hope somebody smacks that dumbass comb over right off your head. Oh, I hate Lindsey Graham because he's a racist, he's a bigot, and he's an all-around piece of shit, and I can't wait until he gets taken out. Taken out, and when I say taken out, I mean taken out of office. So don't try and sit there and say I'm threatening him, YouTube. Taken out of office. Voted, elected out of office, right? He's so scary that even November 6, 2019, he decided to dodge a Marine veteran that came all the way over to come talk to him about the president's actions and the president's verbalization against veterans and his disservice to veterans, right? And Lindsey Graham, what does he do? He runs. He runs and says, I don't agree with you, Marine, and just dodges him. So who are you really serving, Lindsey Graham? Are you serving yourself or are you serving the people? I'm going to say you're serving yourself. And I think hopefully the people of North Carolina have realized that and vote you the hell out. So I don't know. And then when another thing that got me to that is he says we're going back, to go back to the good old days. Nothing was good, especially even if you're saying, ending segregation, because after that, right, we still couldn't really vote because we had to pass a voting test if you were a person of color. I don't know if everybody is familiar with what these voting tests, what these voting tests were made for. Apparently, well, they say it was to prove that you were above the IQ of a fifth grader, pretty much, but it was to hold black voters or black people from voting, right? So there's outrageous tests that nobody can understand. Dude, I sent you a link, and as a matter of fact, I think what I'll do is I'll read some of them off. Some of the questions were: draw a line under the last word in this line. And it has you got to read the sentence. Circle the first letter of the alphabet in this line. In the first circle, write the last letter of the first word beginning with L. Draw a line through the two letter, blah, blah. So do we get where we're going with this? And this is in the 1960s.
Not too far. The 1960s. I thought this was the 1860s. So real quick,
1950s, 1960s.
Here's some things that again I think most people don't know about. And you sort of got to it, Rob. Was after slavery, 1865, the Emancipation Proclamation, right? Reconstruction begins in 1868. The South quickly passed vagrancy laws.
Yep.
So if you didn't have a job, and I mean, what kind of job could you have as a former fucking slave? Who's hiring? Who is hiring?
You can't say sharecropping because that was not your job. You were paying off a debt.
Right. So because most of these freed slaves were now violating the vagrancy laws by not working, they would get locked up. Again, you talk about these, it's funny how the conservatives were talking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg's dying wish was that Trump wouldn't fill the seat. And they said, I don't remember seeing deathbed wishes in the Constitution. That's a good one. That's really funny. But then doesn't the same thing apply here? Where in the Constitution does it say you have to take a fucking test, a literacy test to vote? Right? That was just some racist shit that we made up along the way.
But it was great. And
then Jim Crow came into effect.
You know,
listen, white people have had their bases covered since slavery ended, literally through the 60s, 70s, and 80s, going out of their way. Everyone's super anti-welfare in this country. Now, people on the right are super anti-welfare, even though statistically they know it's people from their states. White Christian conservatives from the South are the number one takers of welfare in this entire country. They've got the highest divorce rate. They've got the highest abortion rate, and they're the biggest fucking hypocrites. They're always running their mouth telling you not to do it because they want to do it. So that's where we're at in this country. But yes, for Lindsey Graham. But here's the thing. I think Lindsey Graham was being facetious when he said about the good old days, but he's not the kind of guy that should be making jokes about that shit.
No.
Of anybody who should be making jokes about the good old days, he's not the guy to fucking do it.
You're a politician for a reason.
You know, and exactly. You hit it there. You're a politician for a reason. And those kind of comments, those kind of snarky fucking remarks are uncalled for and have no place there. Especially during a hearing like that.
Real quick, by the way, kudos to her for her actual answer of what she said.
Very true.
Was that Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka, Kansas, 1954 is super precedent. And what they've been trying to get her to say, specifically that there's two cases that should also be treated as super precedent. One being Roe v. Wade, the other one being Obergefell. So gay marriage and abortion. She's expressed in her past that she believes super precedent should be followed, but things that aren't super precedent don't have to be. And that's the concern people have right now when it comes to abortion and gay marriage and Amy Coney Barrett. But again, her feelings on the matter based on her religion are problematic. That's why people are so against her and her religion.
And I can't.
If she's going to be a good justice, like Kavanaugh and Gorsuch have been so far, you're going to follow precedent, you're going to follow law, you're going to follow statutes, whether they favor your political philosophies or not. Like John Roberts has done an amazing job. Supreme Court Justice, Republican, or conservative rather, John Roberts, put there by George W. Bush, has sided with the liberals over and over and over and over again. To your benefit, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, to your benefit. All of the rulings have gone for us, the little guy. That's what we want.
You know, and I think, I don't know, I feel like the way, and maybe I might have misunderstood her, but from what my understanding was, and especially like a lot of the times where she would defer certain things, it felt like she was just deferring because it was literally her personal, she knew that her personal feelings would come off into that kind of answer. So
but
now,
if she being a good judge, Rob, then her personal feelings shouldn't fucking matter.
Exactly. But the things that so when whatever court system she was a part of, she kept saying, oh, well, that's why we didn't want to rule on it because I didn't want to rule on it because I didn't feel like my opinion was appropriate or my ruling would be appropriate. Like, yeah, because your personal feelings, you can't go anywhere now. You're at the top. So now if you can't push this off to another court, now weird, you know what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying now? So like if you can't push it off to somebody else to decide, do your feelings really do your personal feelings really do take a factor now?
You do your job as a justice and you follow the law and you do your research and you follow precedent. If listen, here's how the law works, right? If there's a precedent where, again, when it comes to religious liberty, anytime there's a religious liberty lawsuit, the court generally rules in favor of your religion. If you complain you're being harassed for your religion and it goes to the Supreme Court, you'll probably win. They're suckers for that. Okay? They're absolute suckers for that. A judge can't suddenly be like, fuck you, I don't like religion. Doesn't work that way. You have to follow statutes and precedents. Okay? That's how the law works. Lawyers are going to cite other cases that are similar. They're going to cite other laws that have been passed that would be relative to what you're talking about. You're supposed to follow the laws and the precedents.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be like, well, fuck it, I don't like it, and I'm going to change it. Doesn't work that way. Or is that supposed to work that way?
I was going to say
it's what the concern is. Nothing that Amy Coney Barrett said, honestly, made me feel like she wouldn't be a good justice. That she wouldn't do, again, like I said, we all hated Gorsuch and Kavanaugh and the way they got pushed through the Supreme Court. They've done a really good job.
So you think she might actually?
I think she could be a good justice. Again, I don't like her religion at all. I got a real problem with it in some comments she's made in the past. But if she's willing to set aside her views, all I could do was trust Gorsuch. All I could do was trust Kavanaugh. All I could do was trust John Roberts. And John Roberts and Gorsuch and Kavanaugh in the last year have done amazing things for gay people, transgender people, and black people in separate rulings that have happened with the Supreme Court in the last year. And it's all because one of those conservatives went with the liberals and swung it. That means they're doing their job. They're not put it like this. Clarence Thomas doesn't do his job. Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito vote conservative without giving you, American citizen, any thought at all.
Yeah.
You don't matter. They don't care. They've got their philosophies and they're following them. You can make the same argument against Ruth Bader Ginsburg if you like. I won't argue you there. But the rest of these justices are interpreting the law based on precedent, and that's how it's supposed to work. And look, I don't know if you guys know, there was a big ruling this year, basically where they ruled that sex is a protected class.
Yes.
Whether you're male or female, that's a protected class. Yes. Sexual. I'm sorry, I was almost going to say preference, and I know that's not the word. Sexual orientation, rather.
Yeah.
I was going to say I know they just bashed Comey for saying it, and I apologize for throwing that out there. For orientation was not protected. Well, the Supreme Court, and with the help of these conservative justices, they looked at the precedent and they said, when we're talking about sex, male, female, they were able to sort of include homosexuality in this under the thought of, because you're not a man who likes women and sports and beer, because you like antiquing and dudes, you're not living up to my standard of a man.
The eighth.
And so through that ruling, they were able to include your sexual orientation and it not being like jiving with what my idea of a man or woman is. Now it's like,
I know some gay dudes that beat their ass.
You don't get to decide how men and women act or how they dress or how they present or who they sleep with or when they sleep with them or any of that shit.
I know some bottoms that rake their ass up and show them what a real man's supposed to be. They better stop with this fucking ego shit.
And so again,
people for who they are.
All you can ask these conservative justices to do is interpret the law, not based on your religious feelings, but on the law. And by and large, Gorsuch and Kavanaugh and Roberts have been amazing. And I would expect the same from Amy Coney Barrett. There was nothing in there that she said during these hearings that made me think it was anything more than liberals sort of whipping up she's going to, because you'd have a hard time, in my opinion, getting rid of gay marriage. I think abortion's still in play. I think most conservatives know enough gay people that they're like, yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah,
I know God hates them, but I don't have a problem with them. Because it's hard to hate gay people.
God doesn't even hate gay people. God created gay people. Apparently.
Well, God's not real, so none of that happened.
That's what I said. Alleged. Well, I should have
Sure,
said
right,
alleged.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just for the sake of your argument, right?
Well,
And if God made man in His image, then God's a little gay too, dude.
He's homosexual. I mean, or no, bisexual. Bisexual.
He'd have to be
Have to be.
if God created man in His image, and not
What
the other
the
way
fuck
around,
was that?
which I've always suspected was the case, that man created God in our image. But say God did create man in His image, then God's white, God's black, God's Hispanic, God's gay,
Pretend
God's
it.
straight.
What the fuck was I just watching? Oh, Lovecraft Country. There's I guess no, was it Lovecraft Country? Anyways, it was like a hermaphrodite. And then what was the other show? Britannia. I don't know, something my girl's watching, Britannia or whatever. And it was like the second guy after Adam or whatever. And he's like, he's like bisexual or whatever. I think that's what he said. I lost my train of thought with that.
Well,
But I'm gonna come
here's
back
the
to it.
thing,
But it was
Rob,
literally
I mean, people have been gay since we were walking upright. Just some people, that's just the way they want to go. And that's fine. Who cares? Who cares? I for the life of me, Ovi, I don't understand why people care who you're fucking. Who cares?
At this day and age right now, no one should ever care.
it shouldn't matter.
It
Shit.
shouldn't matter. I remember, was it in the 80s? Well, Jungle Fever. When
Oh,
the
yeah,
movie first came out, and you see that there was a racial issue.
Yep.
All people trying to get together. Well, who cares?
Yeah.
You're not sleeping in bed with them, or are you jealous? Which one is it?
And that's
Let me
what it
ask
is.
you.
I think it's more like somebody's jealous.
Have I ever asked either one of you who you're fucking and when? And I know who both of you are sleeping with. I do. And I've never asked for details.
Yeah.
And both of these guys, in case anyone's wondering or had any questions, they are both with women, believe it or not. Both of these guys.
Yeah.
I'm just teasing.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised any woman wants to be with me for the simple fact that you want to deal with this all the time. Fuck it.
It's funny. So my wife and they're very good friends of mine now. And these guys have been together for 13 years, and they're actually getting married next week because they're so concerned. Their wedding was supposed to be in June. It got canceled because of COVID. Now they're rushing to get married because they're concerned about Amy Coney Barrett. And the idea that if they don't get married before that it may get struck down. That's a real fear that good friends of mine have. Two guys who I love a lot. Two guys who every year come and spend a long 5 days at my house.
Hell yeah.
Okay. When I first met them, I was very Republican still. Again, I've just always been socially liberal. It would never occur to me to ask those guys or to look at those guys and think like, oh, these guys are having sex. I mean, right? I wouldn't look at my heterosexual friends and think, oh,
they're
this guy's fucking his wife every night at that. If you're thinking about that, you're a sexual fucking deviant and there's something fucking wrong with you. And you can't pray that shit away, boy. I'll tell you that. There's something fucking wrong with you. When I'm with these two guys, you know what I see? I see as loving a couple as I've ever seen in any heterosexual situation.
There you go.
That's what I see.
Oh,
if you're consumed with where they're putting their dick, then that's you. That's a fucking you problem.
That's a you thing. I was just about to say
you problem, and if you're that concerned about it, there might be some part of you that's. I hate to say this, but I think you might be a little bit,
which is okay. But
not that there's anything wrong with that.
And all I'm saying that takes a lot of visualization to even have to sit there and like spin.
Look at my man Frank. He knows. He said the same shit. Look at Frank in the comments. I love it.
Exactly. There's still like you literally have to visualize that. You would have to put so much effort into that. So you would want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry that too much effort into that. Shit, I was raised by a single mom after she left the devil. Guru. Hey, I agree with that. I'm sorry I got wrapped up in reading that comment.
Boy, oh, I know. Dude, Molly boy, man. He's got some shit. His mom left his dad, 3 ex-wives.
That comment just covered me, man. I mean,
I do, right?
I had to reread it.
Everybody, look, again, it's that rule of like, just don't fucking worry about what I'm doing.
Exactly.
As long as I'm not breaking the law, Don't worry about it.
Absolutely.
And again, listen, if the religion that you choose makes you become obsessed with your friend's sexual, there's something wrong with you and the religion that you're in. And there's probably something you should talk to a therapist about. Seriously. It's a weird thing, dude. I can't for the life of me. Like, we've talked about this, Rob.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say I don't see color. I just don't treat people differently. No. Like, I'm like, oh, Rob's a black guy. He's fucking cool as shit. I really like him. That's as much thought to your blackness as I've ever given it, Rob.
Well, that's it. That's all that.
Same with you, Ovi. I didn't even realize you were Hispanic for the longest time. I just thought you were Portuguese like me.
That's a damn lie.
You know what I mean? I don't like, I know you're black. I know you're Hispanic. I don't think shit about that. I've got friends that are gay. I don't spend my time like sitting there thinking this guy must suck dick and stuff. Like, if that's what's on your mind, dude, there's something wrong with you. Am I wrong?
The thing is that I was never raised that way. I wasn't raised at home to be that type of person. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There are norms.
Right, but so who was? And why are they like this?
I don't know. Maybe it's like what you said before. Maybe they,
I think they have little questions that they're too scared to ask or too scared to reach out and
maybe they're
touch
insecure.
someone. Hey, I mean, or honestly, I think like a lot of I think they probably had some kind of experience, and they might be too. They probably may have tried some shit and don't want to say anything about it, or they might.
I think I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Altar boys.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, wait a minute. I used to be an altar boy. I never
okay?
got nothing up the pony, so stop.
I was an altar boy as well.
Okay.
And my priest and I were super close. He used to take me to play basketball.
How close were you, Joe?
Nothing inappropriate though, dude. He straight up was just a really good dude. Like, I think back on it, and I'm like, even in the locker room, I don't think he ever like slapped my ass with a towel or anything. He was just a genuinely nice guy.
How many ice cream cones did it take for you to come up with he's a good guy?
Maybe I'm blocking it all out. That certainly would explain a lot, wouldn't it?
Hey, I'm just saying, you can't have this great of an experience as an altar boy and then not be into religion now.
You notice, Rob,
where did it go wrong?
Something went wrong.
Something went wrong.
Rob, you notice how he said he was a good guy.
A good guy.
Really, really good guy.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
that's like saying, hey, I met a bunch of good girls and now I'm gay. Like, I had a bunch of great relationships with these girls, but now I'm gay, Which is not, you can always change. Nothing wrong with changing your mind, by the way.
To be fair, and I'm not going to do it tonight. I will tell you the story of where I really first lost my religion.
Okay.
And it involves a murder and a priest who leaves the priesthood.
Oh, jeez. Dum. On the next episode.
On the next episode of I'll Piss You Off Shortly. Find out where Joe Aguirre realized. Find out when Joe Aguirre realized that this shit's all man-made and that you're being manipulated. And if I was on YouTube with a conspiracy theory channel, people would eat this shit up. But because we're talking to you in a straightforward manner, I know people get offended. It's my religion. I just want to believe it. It's fucking bullshit, and you're stupid to believe it. And all I can do is tell people what I know.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's not my design is not to tell you like that what you're doing is stupid or how you're living your life is stupid. But first of all, nothing burns me up more, Rob, than the people who I accomplish all things through Jesus Christ. Hey, let me tell you something, jerk off. You did that by yourself. That voice that in your head you were talking to, that wasn't Jesus. That was you fucking idiot. That feeling inside when you thought Jesus was like inside of you, that's called balls. You grew a pair of balls. That's all you did. You mustered some courage up and you achieved something. Why wouldn't you then take credit for what you did? Why would you attribute it to like the Sky Zombie? I don't understand that shit.
Well,
you can just be a good person on your fucking own just because that's how you felt. Like in my heart, it feels good to do charity work. That's why I do it. I don't do it because I fear burning in hell.
There you go. You got it right there. You hit it on the head right there. I fucking damn. You got it.
That's like I ain't going anywhere. If you want to tell a fucking like 45-minute story,
oh, that's where I was going
now, though. Yeah,
I lost my belief in church. Well, I think I said it when the pastor was in the strip club and then had the nerve to speak about adultery and the sin of all that shit, right? And then also when I realized that one of my mentors, who was a reverend, he cheated on his wife that was a deaconess for another deaconess. And then when the church found out about it, pretty much the pastor talked about it and said it was God's doing. God wanted that to happen. I was like, yeah, y'all are fucked up.
I'm a sinner.
Like,
I never said I was perfect. Yeah, but you're fucking supposed to be.
Yeah.
And you're chastising me for shit I'm doing wrong. I'm not banging I'm not banging your best friend's wife, buddy. You're doing that.
You're doing it. Exactly.
And you're giving me fucking punishment. You're giving me, you want me to say some Our Fathers and Hail Marys? Motherfucker, where do you get off? Well, we know where you get off, at your best friend's wife's house.
He was giving her the hallelujah.
And the holy blessing with his holy water, anointing her with his holy water every night. Oh man. But speaking about shit that I guess we see but we really don't believe in, and I think this is going to be the fun part, because coming from two different sides of the spectrum, I believe, I'm speaking of the military and just American veterans. Not saying that we don't believe in American veterans, but veterans. What I'm saying is I don't want people to get sucked into this military hype. And I say that because a lot of the conservatives now are just so I mean, the right side has always been, so Republican, so proud to be American, military, pro veterans, pro this, pro that. But I honestly believe that a lot of people don't truly understand what all that entails. And I don't believe, and I don't truly believe they understand how much the military is a business just as much as everything else. And that just because, we're serving our country and we're protecting our freedoms, it really isn't as gracious and as amazing as a lot of people would perceive it to be, right? We get, the thank yous and the kudos for serving our country, but I don't think a lot of people realize that there's so much more sacrifice than just deploying and, and praying that you come back and all in one piece and physically, mentally, emotionally. And I really don't think a lot of people understand that, with this military shit and this government shit, it's so many different sides of the spectrum. Like, so I think everybody looks at the good part, right? They say, oh, you go to the military service, you get to mature, you get a steady pay, you get all these benefits, you get health care, and then you do 20 years and you get to retire in this glorious world.
It's not that glory.
It's not that fucking glorious, as Ov said, right? Like, there's so many, nobody knows how to fill in the blanks. No. And I guess what pisses me off, right, which really where I wanted to get into this, right, to the conservatives or even anybody, like whether you're liberal, conservative, if you use the military as your kind of like platform or what you want to, kind of your standing grace and what you want to be pro for, but you literally can't tell me anything about your military. You can't express to me other than your friend that you knew in high school, he joined and you wanted to join, but you had to bring your inhaler and your fucking recruiter saw your inhaler and you couldn't go. Like, I'm sorry, that's bullshit. Like, I don't want to hear your bullshit. I couldn't join story. I don't want to hear your, I would have joined, but story. Yeah, just like we all would have been fucking pro football players and pro NBA players if we didn't tear our ACLs, right?
No. I should have been a baseball player.
See, okay.
I just never tried out.
You just never tried out. See, I was supposed to go D1 for lacrosse, but
I was too good for those people.
I didn't want to go, So, but so it's just like that, But there's so much, and I wanted to kind of bring this out because I've been waiting, I guess, because a couple of my friends have been like, especially veteran friends, they've been like, yo, you can't just go dog in the military, and you can't just go dogging.
We're not dogging nobody. We're just telling the truth.
Yeah, and that's it. Like just putting it out there, you know what I mean, I guess calling a spade, right? So there's so many topics we can discuss, and I feel like this could definitely well be a multi-part series on this, especially with the I had such a small window, I'll say, as far as like service. But then I know over you actually made the full 20. You did the stretch. I made halfway the stretch.
It wasn't by purpose. I'll tell you that. I had a lot of fun, and then reality hit me.
So yeah, matter of fact, go ahead. I think everybody knows my story pretty much. So I'll let you kind of get into your side of your journey.
Well, first things first. You joined the military. I joined in 1995. Okay. And my first paycheck was $200.
Woo! And
first month was $200.
Your first month.
Why? First month.
I'll
tell you why. They gave me money up front, $200. So I have to pay for my physical fitness uniform. So yeah, I had to wear the Army shirt, the shorts, the socks, the sneakers of their choice.
This was before the marshmallows?
Right. This is oh yeah. So like I said, I'm old school.
Okay, yeah. And that's how and this is what I'm saying. We have about a 10-year gap because you were 96, I was about 06 or 95.
So these are the uniforms that when it's cold, you still won't warm up. That's the one.
Okay.
Then you have to buy, all those necessities. Then when the paycheck comes, like during that process, when you go in the process, you get your uniform, your dress uniform, everything, and then you take a picture. But the picture is a fake uniform. Okay, it's Velcro around your neck. You smile, but you can't smile because you got like 7 shots from when you went to the medical process.
Yep, with that peanut butter shot. They don't know about that penicillin shot.
Yeah, you got hepatitis A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. You name it, it's there. All right. And then all the uniform, everything, you actually pay for it.
Yep.
That's why you got $200 on your first paycheck. Now, when I came in, $800 for a private E1. So that's with no rank whatsoever. Then, of course, when you get promoted, you get a raise, but the raise is not that much. Okay. So anyway, that's the first part. The second part is, and I'm reading here, is that every year you get an allowance.
Your money.
Clothing allowance. But that money is to replace the stuff that is wear and tear. Okay?
Throughout the year.
If you ask a soldier, how much do you pay for a brand new uniform? For one set, you're paying almost $100. The boots cost at least a good pair of boots, $130 or more. If you buy the ones that are $60, you won't have any legs within 3 months.
Exactly. Or any soles on your feet.
Right.
Or you know what I mean? Like everything's busted. And you have to have 2 pairs. Those $60 pair of boots don't last you a full year. You're getting maybe 6 months, depending on what your MOS is.
Right. So when it comes to promotions, it's automatic from E1 to E4. But here's the catch. You want to be a leader. That's when sometimes it gets political. And it's all about who you know sometimes. Or if you're not in trouble, you're doing what you're supposed to do, and they got nothing against you, then yeah, you have the right to go to a board, which is a bunch of senior non-commissioned officers in the building, or sorry, in the room, and they ask you a bunch of questions just to know if you got the knowledge and skills and everything else. And if you made it by points, you get promoted. If you don't, well, then you might have to try 6 months later.
And that's the thing. So, like, not to cut you off real quick, but when you're speaking of points, it's literally a point system. So, like, max out points is like 789 or something like that, if I remember, 750, something like that. Somebody correct me in the comments if you remember. But then you can literally have 0 points to 7 something. And just because like you pass the board, depending on what your job is, your points can be 3 or your points can be maxed out at 7 whatever, right?
So if you're a combat in a combat MOS or a combat occupation, you're more likely gonna get promoted than a guy that works behind the desk
or a cook or something, something like that.
So the more population you have for that particular job, the lesser the points, the more you get promoted, because we need junior leaders, to fill in the gaps. So, and then in the sense, and I ran into this problem before, is that I had a soldier that wants to get promoted. This dude is talented, but the problem is physically he can't run. So how can you allow this guy to get promoted and lead his men in front of the battle? Well,
all because he can't run.
Right. Well, that cook probably shot his weapon maybe once a year, probably doesn't know how to be an infantryman, but he gets promoted because he knows how to flip an egg. So where's your check and balances there?
Exactly.
I mean?
Very true.
I trust me, I got a whole laundry list of stuff from my first phase and everything else. But that's another story. But ask away, man. Ask away. I mean, I'm sure you got a lot of questions and stuff. I want to hit every angle that you want me to cover.
Oh no, yeah. So like a lot of it is, and I'm glad you kind of started from the jump and then kind of brought it in, because we're in a very vague window. But even starting from the beginning, right? How you break it down. We go into basic training, and a lot of I'm glad you're saying it first, because everybody can hear it from your mouth instead of coming from me first, and they see it's it's pretty much in line, right? So you go into basic training. Yeah, you get all this stuff done. You get your zero. I think that's what it was. We had like a triple alt. So like the bald, like skin was coming off, right?
Yeah.
But everything that they're doing, I had to pay for my haircut. That shit came out of my check. That came out.
Hold on for a second.
Yep.
Haircuts. Joe, I love your hair, man. But I tell you what, if you was to step in your first day of basic training, there's this cadence called, they put me in the barber chair, spun me around, I had no hair. That is a true statement. And look, normally, and you can ask the people that know me, that my hair usually is short. And this is before the Army. However, I came in with a haircut. I still got a haircut. Okay? And those clippers that they have, they scrape the skull, okay? Ooh. Like literally.
They're not licensed barbers. They're not.
They went like this so hard. My head was glowing. All right.
You got the spit shot.
My headache hurt so bad for like 2 days. Okay. I'm no lie. Lie.
It's not fun.
I wasn't the only one. Of course, everybody went through the process, But yeah, man, that I tell you what, I was probably one. That was my worst experience, and the other one was the shots, because when I got a shot up the ass, I almost left with my pants down and the needle still stuck in my butt cheeks, walking around, because I was like, damn, I can't feel my leg.
So y'all understand what he's talking about with the shot. So it's a penicillin shot, and they call it the peanut butter shot, because literally it looks like a big just syringe and tub full of peanut butter. And they inject it in you, and then literally, as you're sitting there, they're rubbing it, massaging this, rubbing your ass cheek.
Whoa, wait a minute.
No,
nobody rubbed my ass
so
like
back,
that.
Once again, 10 years separation. So I got scared and I moved, because I said, "Yo, you're not doing that." But they was like, "No, we have to, because you would literally, like, the way it goes in, they said you could get a blood clot," but I wasn't trying to. I was like, "No, I'll rub it myself." But as I'm watching, you see some people, they're literally just getting their ass cheek rubbed. I'm like, this is too crazy. But, and I know this sounds crazy. Like, a lot of listeners are like, "Oh my God, boo-hoo, you guys got to get a shot." Yeah. This is just kind of like the intro, though, like just kind of the fun shit. But what I kind of wanted to get at, kind of starting, when we're going from, I guess, kind of hitting on the transition of a soldier, right? As you were talking about the progression and even the promotion aspect, that was one of the things that I had a struggle with, and I'm glad you brought it up. You can have a guy that was super technical. You have a soldier that knew his shit, and we'll say me, because this was me, right? I knew my shit, the back of my hand. You demo calcs, how to maintenance my vehicles, all that shit. But I just hated PT. At the time, well, I'll say this. When I was at Fort Drum, I wasn't a PT stud, but I can do my 2 mile in. I want to say like a 15 2 mile, but I was 255, 260. And height and weight, that was my biggest thing. So everybody that doesn't know, you still like after you do your PT test, everybody has to get height and weight. So if you're above a certain weight, the standard weight or whatever average weight, which is bullshit, you have to get taped. So they literally tape your stomach, they tape your abdomen, they tape your neck, and they do 3 calculations. If your body fat percentage is above a certain number, you literally get flagged.
Right.
And what that means is
called the Army body composition.
There we go, right?
Right.
So me being a big guy, I could run, I could do my push-ups, I can do my sit-ups, but I would get flagged because I was too fat for the Army. Now, remind you, this is the same soldier that could lift and pick up everybody and anybody in any kind of squad drill, battle drill, knew all my shit, could maneuver, shoot, all that shit. But because I had some extra pudge, it was an issue. So now you take that, right? So now I get what's called a flag. A flag in the military stops all favorable actions. So that means like anything that you think you want to do, any kind of schools, any kind of progression, that shit stops until that action changes. So until I can drop my body fat and all favorable actions to include military leave, to include other, things, right? Promotions and everything else like that. So now you take a soldier that, he can run. He doesn't have any fat on him, but he can't shoot. He doesn't know how to fucking do anything. He doesn't really know technical shit. But because he made that automatic, when you're looking at between E2 to E4, you have an automatic promotion period, right? And this is one of the things that I realized. I missed 2 automatic promotions. Well, I missed 2 opportunities for promotions that pushed me to have to extend to your automatic time period, because if you do automatic promotion, it takes a little bit longer, but you can go a little bit earlier. I missed promotions only because I was 2% over my body fat allowed, right? Everything technical, physical, I passed my PT test and everything else. I got flagged for body percent, but I lost promotion to 2 guys that couldn't tell you what was the AR for clothing. And Ovi, if I tell you right now, clothing regulation, could you tell me what's the regulation for Army clothing?
Well, it's been a while, man.
AR 670-1.
Now that's not Army clothing. It's not.
Well, whatever
Army clothing.
Okay, so I
the
might
Army
even
body composition.
There we
which
go.
Is AR 600-9, right?
Well, no, I'm talking about for Army clothing. I'm not talking about for the competition. I'm just talking for just using AR 670-1 for the clothing. They couldn't tell me. They couldn't. Right. They wouldn't be able to tell you which one that was, and that was an AR that everybody can relate to. Right. But basically, what I'm saying is that like it was certain bullshit and certain things that I realized in the military that still held you back. And then when I realized that like you get into the political aspect, right, where if you don't know somebody, like the whole like know somebody to know somebody is true. So like especially go ahead.
So let's put it out, and like I said, I see different types of leadership. We got leadership like Trump.
Yep.
Then you got leadership like Obama, and I'm like for example, Obama will know how to talk, right?
Yep.
I had leaders that will took time to give me advice, give me a purpose and a direction.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have leaders, and they're junior leaders that really didn't know how to be leaders.
Very true.
Right.
When I came in, I had a corporal.
Behind the ears.
Oh yeah.
Right. And I'm a prime example myself. 18 years old, going to the Army. By 19, I was already a corporal.
I
didn't know much about being a leader.
So you didn't even know much about being a man, pretty much at that point.
Yeah, I was still behind the ears 4 or 5 years down the
road. Oh
right?
yeah.
But I was put in that position. But to be an effective leader, you got to read. You got to know regulations. You got to know, I won't say yes, you got to know the manuals. That was something that I couldn't do as a young non-commissioned officer, to where I know the lingo to be able to teach you something. I knew it because I saw it in my eyes and I executed, and that's how you did it. And I used to come up with my own language until a specific person came up to me and say, Muniz, you can't do that, man. You got to do this. You got to do it that way. Because then people will respect you. You know, and Frank was one of my men. Okay, just like on my other show, I had Hector, who is also the host of HSW show. He was also my role model. He was my big brother. Even though I lasted longer in the Army, he got out and everything. But him and there's a couple of other people that used to take me under their wing and, let me flourish with it, if you know what I'm saying. But there were leaders there that didn't know what they're doing. They thought, oh, my way is the highway, And people like for you that got 1% over, they didn't take time to say, hey, man, I'm going to help you shape those percentages so you can be successful in the Army. And that's what happens. All right?
And don't get me wrong, I did have a couple good leaders that were great like that. Like, sorry, there's a couple, I won't throw the names, but there a couple that really like set me up for success. But I think where it was is where you get those shitty ones, right? Or you get the ones that fast track so quick and their mentality is still in that young mindset. And then and that was the thing. Like, so, and I guess to kind of shoot at least the Army some bail in the military, when you're at war, you really don't have time to train as much as you would like, right? Or to thoroughly train, like to go through the PDLCs, the WLCs. I know it's probably PDLC when you went through.
Well, yeah, PDLC, yeah.
So, and anybody that doesn't know that, that's like your first entry level leadership course. So like your kind of first level entry. So mine was warrior leadership course. His Ovi's was PDLC, which professional development leadership course, right? Pretty much the same agenda, whatever the case may be. But and that was the thing. The military loves fucking acronyms.
Yes.
And Frank, you're right. Leadership makes a big difference with soldiers. And what I learned, right, was you can be an amazing leader or a shitty boss. You either had a boss or a leader. That leader was somebody that was actually going to develop you. And yeah, you might get skull drug, but what did you learn after that? And there was always an educational value point to it. Whereas a boss was there just to tell you what, hey, formations this point, do here, and literally give you no guidance. You can never find them in a motor pool. You can never find them with their soldiers. You can never find them doing sergeant's time training, right? And I think I don't know exactly when that changed, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but I want to say between 2010 and 2012, there was a shift in the military, or even like between 2010 and 2011, and I say that because that's when I deployed. I was deployed between one of my deployments, 2010, 2011. And it changed from when we left to go on deployment than when we came back. The whole big army just felt different. And it seemed like instead of the NCO, and for anybody that's not tracking what we're saying when we say NCO, non-commissioned officer, sergeant, right? Or if we say officer, your lieutenants and shit like that. But right, so the NCO or the officer, they change from caring about their soldiers to actually caring about more of their career. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it changed for me, where I was like, when I started to see that change, where it was like, yeah, if you're really not going to care about the soldier and you're more caring about you being a boss and just your development, what good is that going to do for the Army overall and for your soldiers? You know what I'm saying? So that was one of the deterrents for me. And then overall, you know what I mean? And just seeing how, like, when I became an NCO, just how like the favoritism and the nastiness and the power structure of how an NCOER and the ratings would be, it literally put us against each other. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like my peers, like we're working together, but then now instead of practically killing this shit together, now we're being worked together against each other as a peer and separated.
Here's the reason. Not everybody, and Joe, you probably could relate this to as an instructor. Not when you have 13 people in the class, not every 13 people is going to be number one.
Exactly.
There's going to be a number one. There's someone that's going to be very outstanding.
There's definitely going to be a number 13. That the person's
outstanding is always going to be top notch because everybody's different. But for what he was saying is, if you have a group of people, and you evaluate them, not everybody could be number one, and that's what people used to do. And I'm guilty as myself as a young non-commissioned officer, where I have to write things on paper.
Mhm.
You know, I didn't want to write. If I have to write something on paper, it's because you did something wrong. I
You're
don't
talking
got
about
time.
counseling a soldier.
You know, counseling's NCR, which is the evaluation report.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm supposed to, but if I'm talking to you on a daily basis, I know what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Do I have to write it on paper all the time? That's a misconception there. But for higher leaders, they want to get to know what's going on down here. But hey, wait a minute. What happened to 2 levels up, 2 levels
That
down?
was down.
Right? So stay out of my lane. Don't worry about it. I won't say possessions like he's my soldier or anything, but I know my men. I know
Yeah,
what they're
that's-
capable of. And if I feel like that particular person needs to get promoted, promote the guy.
And
You know?
that's the bullshit. You know, I never understood how, especially a first
Well,
sergeant, when you
when
look
the
at
big army's looking at it,
Yep.
and is looking at a bunch of staff sergeants that want to be senior non-commissioned officers, and they say, well, there's so many people are number ones. Now, because the leaders were lazy not to put it on paper, like myself, then they started changing the rules to where, okay, now we have to make everybody peer them. So now if I have like 4 squad leaders that want to be a platoon sergeant, you know, 1 level up, well, who's the one that's actually performing? Who's my
Gotcha.
number 1, 2? And I hate to do it, but that doesn't mean I always have to give number 1. That's the whole trick. People think like that's automatic. You got to give somebody number 1. No, I don't. By the book, it says I don't. And that's why they used to call me Dr. Doctrine, you know, because there was some other stuff that happened in a couple of units. I'll probably talk to you later about. But the thing is that when you read the regulations, especially with all the change, and you're caught up to it, and then you start building that knowledge and you share with everybody else. But there's always that one guy to be like, oh, you can't do that. I'm going to change this. I said, no, buddy, you're not changing my evaluation.
And that's the thing. I noticed that when I got my first NCOER, right? My first platoon sergeant was like, no, I'm not giving anybody a 1. And the sergeant major, it came from the sergeant major. No, you have to do it. You're gonna give everybody. You're gonna, and it was like it got to the point where, and that's where I started to realize that like you literally are making people do things that they say they don't want to do, but because you want it a certain way, you're forcing people to do it, and then you're using the book. You're using Article 15. You're using these things, you know what I mean, to pressure people. Hell, I lost rank that way because I told the first sergeant, no, I'd rather be a fucking E1 than to sit here like the rest of these fucking sergeants, kiss your ass and suck your dick just to keep my fucking rank. So no, I'm not busting my soldier down. You're gonna have to bust me down with him. And sure as fuck, I was right there, busted down with my fucking soldier. But to this day, fuck you, Pookie. Fucking First Sergeant Brian, you piece of shit. Julius Brian, fuck you, asshole. I said it too. But anyways, you piece of shit fucking First Sergeant. You horrible excuse for a fucking leader. But to this fucking day, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things. Like, when you realize that people had all their personal agendas that affected your own growth and, you know what I mean, your own growth. Well, I should say my growth that I felt. And then other soldiers, especially when I noticed that shit when I was working in operations. And I'm glad I was working in operations to be able to kind of effectively change some of that bullshit to not let certain things fly. Because, oh yeah, like it was the fact that I used to see some of my boys get slammed for some shit or try and get slammed for some shit that the white boys were doing. The same shit, but getting swept under the fucking rug. Or when I got in operations, fuck yeah, I looked at everybody's shit. I had access to everybody. I'm looking at people's shit. I got access to Article 15s. Motherfuckers getting DUIs and don't even know about it.
So I'm glad
Just
that you said
counselors
that.
and shit like, you know what I'm saying?
So you
Go
want
ahead.
to talk about racism and bigotry and everything else? There was this thing. There was like the good old boy system, you know, and very rarely that you see it. But there was one particular unit that you saw it, and if you're not with them, then you're against them, right? And I felt bad because when I took over a unit, and the sergeant major realized that this unit was toxic. So they had to get rid of the commander. They got rid of the acting first sergeant. Remember, there was a first sergeant that was in a sergeant first class position, knowing that there's a lot of first sergeants out there, but kept that guy by purpose. So you know there's a good old boy system going on. Eventually, we do a bunch of surveys every year.
Oh,
Okay.
yep. Climate service.
The
Yeah.
climate survey, exactly. So eventually there was a lot of threats on that report, and they had to remove the guy. And what happens? I just got lucky to just get promoted to E7. It was like, hey, excuse me, did you want a platoon? Of course I did. So what my thing is, and this is when I talk about counseling again and NCOERs, where here I am, there's an NCO that has to be his NCOER is ready to be written. So I look at his packet and I go, well, you just fired the guy that was supposed to write his NCOER. He's long gone, not reachable, and well, it can't go blank. So I'm mandated to write the NCOER. So I have to do, you're right. But as a young, remember, I just started.
But how can you rate him?
Exactly. But it got to be done, you know?
Crazy.
And it was like, look, we have to do this, catch up, because the unit was behind everything. So what do we have to do? Now they don't matter who was before, it's the leader that is now, you know? And that's how they look at it. Now it's my responsibility. But I got this guy who had an Article 15, and I wasn't even there. And I felt guilty writing it because Army values.
And that's that. Yeah, there's no. Where's your ethics with that? There's no.
Then I find out later down the road the reason why he got demoted, and I'm like, this is bullshit. But you can't go back; it's already done.
Yeah,
I just ruined this guy's career by writing his NCOER because stuff that I've already have on his report.
Yeah,
you know, and that's the biggest thing. The biggest flaw that we have is that we are not held accountable for all the stuff that's happening. Yes, Joe might look at the military and say, you know what, man, thank you for your service, doing this, this, and that. But do you know what that particular soldier went through? You know what I mean? Not just overseas doing whatever, but we got our own battles within the unit itself.
Like, it's crazy. I don't think people realize that. Literally, when you're in the Army, and I get it, we're in the military. We sign first and foremost, yes, we all volunteer for the shit and we sign up for it. I don't want to take that away from anything, right? But imagine doing this shit for 20 years, getting up probably 4 o'clock every morning. Because remind you, there's no OT, there's no nothing, you know what I'm saying? Getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning just to start your day off, just to get home, and probably not even go to bed. I know when I was a sergeant, I didn't go to bed till probably 11 o'clock because I still got to check on my soldiers. I still got to check on my family. I still got to do some paperwork. I still got to plan. Don't let me have sergeant's time training this week. Don't let me, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much more into it. And then not to mention being away from your family. Like, that shit is the worst. Like, even to think, right? So they're like, yeah, they put you in housing. No, they give us money just to take that money back, right?
Exactly. And then that's another one.
The housing is trash. they literally say, hey, we're going to give you money for housing, and then we're going to take it back. And we're going to take it all. And the housing is trash.
So everybody understands is that if Joe was coming to my organization and he has his family, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give you a home. But I'm going to give you $1,000 every month for your home. But I'm going to take it right back. Okay? On top of that, it's going to affect you on your taxes because it's going to say that you made that much money. But you really didn't.
That's earned income. That's earned income. And by the way, it doesn't matter if you have a 1-bedroom or a 4-bedroom. Your rent is still the same.
And if you get promoted, the rent goes higher.
Goes up. Yep, your rent goes up. Even because guess what? It's called BH, basic allowance for housing allowance. Right? So if I am you have certain housing that you can live in. So if I'm like E1 to E4, I only qualify for certain housing, which is shitty, right? So E5, you might be able to squeeze your way into some decent housing unless you have a big family, right? But if you don't have a big family or some fucking rank behind you, you're in a shitty ass house and your BAH is gone. But guess what? Say you go from E4 to E5, your BAH shoots up probably about $500, but your housing still stays the same. But guess what? That $500 extra that they gave you, that's gone because it goes to your housing now. even though you're in the same shitty ass housing, you gotten a little bit more in your housing allowance, but they take all of that if you're living on post. That's if you're living on post. Now, if you're living off post, you still get the same base.
I used to find a place like they gave me $1,300 for housing allowance. I purposely used to get an apartment for $700 so I could make some money.
Exactly. I roommated everything. And that's the thing. You only get BAH if you're married or if you have children. So everybody is like, oh, how could Rob be married 2 times? Well, yep, I was one of those dumb fucking soldiers. I got married the first time because I thought the baby was mine. I got married the second time because I thought I was in love. And really the first time I got married because, hey, I'm gonna get extra money from the fucking military to have this fucking family. So since I have this fucking family, I might as well get the fucking extra money. And look, it's a fucking headache. And that's literally what you have in the military. Everybody wonders why the divorce rate is so fucking high. Well, because you have all these young soldiers that go somewhere, go to their first duty station, meet the first chick that they fucking fall in love with 6 months later down the road because
they didn't fall in love. You know the reason why. Say the truth.
All right, cool. They went to the strip club. They tricked off their first little fucking paycheck. They fucking fell in love with one of the strippers or one of the locals.
That first piece that they got.
And then they said, oh, well, you really can't be up in the barracks like this because my sergeants always check. So let's get married so we can have our own space. And then 6 months down the road, he realizes that Buddy in fucking 187 Cav or Triple Deuce Infantry fucking smashed her and married her fucking 10 months ago. And then they got divorced. So it's a crazy world out there. Or she's been an ex-wife like 5 times. Or he's been an ex-husband like 5 times because it goes both ways. It's not just
before. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know how many soldiers I had that was like, oh, sorry, I met the love of my life. I'm going to get married.
Oh, even better is when we're about to get deployed and they get married real quick.
Quick to get the extra money.
Come back and then be negative 500 in the bank.
500?
Yes.
Oh, 5. That's all you had?
Dude, there's plenty more, but there's one particular one that I had. Yeah.
A soldier was out 28 grand deployment money.
All right, watch this. You ready, Joe?
Separate account.
That's crazy.
Watch this. So there's a soldier that came back. Not only they had no money, but he had no place.
No place.
The apartment or the house that he had gone. Somebody else is living there.
Oh, you ever had a soldier that left with the girl? Well, he left, had the girlfriend. The girlfriend got pregnant, and then he swore it was his. And you've been on a fucking 15-month deployment.
Yes,
bro, it's not adding up. You didn't go and leave until month 8 of this deployment.
And okay, Frank's commenting, but he knows. And there was one soldier left early. He was getting out the army. He goes back with his best friend's wife. They hook up and then they bounce. So it's crazy, man. I should write a book about it.
Yo, I would love to be a co-writer because the story, and we could literally talk about this all night. And we've been having so much fun. We're already past the 2-hour mark. I realized that your guy Alexander actually dipped out. He didn't want to dip out, but he had to.
Right.
So I don't want to hold everybody, but we're gonna have to do this again. But before we end up this part, because we're gonna do a part 2 or 3 of this, because this is really, really dope. I'm loving this. I'm loving this veteran talk. What kind of leader were you, Ovi? And then what was?
I think you should ask Frank that.
All right,
I was bipolar.
But that's cool. Okay. So
I let my squad as a platoon sergeant, I let my squad leaders run the show.
There you go.
Because I was brought up that's how you're supposed to be.
Okay.
And I had good leaders. I had good junior leaders. I'll give them props. But I was an asshole. I was. But I had to. We were close, but when people had to get their foot, I had to put my foot up their ass, I had to do it.
Yeah.
And that was it. Again, when I was a junior NCO, I was a terrible leader. I wasn't guided right. I did with like any old school, when something was fucked up, then everything was up in push-ups or any type of exercise. But I realized at the end that, you know what? I forgot that we all volunteered to be in the Army. I don't have to punish you by doing exercises and stuff like that. Maybe you just need a mentor.
Exactly, and
Right.
that was, and that's what okay.
Yeah, and then some things, some people they could say that I didn't do things right, but there's certain ways that had to be done in order to be right later on. So if I'm going to a toxic place, I got to change the atmosphere. I was never a drill sergeant, but I might as well be one just to get it right.
Yeah.
When you come into work, is your uniform clean? Is your boots clean? We're not going out for training, so you're supposed to be well presented. If you're not, and if my sergeants are not correcting their soldiers, then guess what? I'm going to be in your ass.
There you go.
If
Now,
your room is dirty, like I went to a room and a soldier's living there with all kinds of trash in his room. You mean to tell me you cannot pick up the trash, go outside, that's probably less than 5 feet away, and dump it? Are you serious right
I
now?
used to hate that. I'm like, you all leave, pass by the same garbage can every morning for PT. Just grab your garbage bag and put it in the trash can. It's literally right there.
But my biggest gripe, and especially as a leader, I'm also responsible for leaders above me as well.
Okay.
And your next part, I will tell you what my biggest challenge is. And I almost got into a one-on-one with a particular officer, a field grade officer. So, yes.
Yeah, those are never fun. Those are never fun. I know. See, you had a field grade. I just had a little butter bar, but you know what I mean? Those field grades, those majors and up, like, ugh.
Hey.
Yeah, man. Hey, and Frank hit it right there. Just because you're an NCO doesn't make you a good leader. That's
No. You said it wrong, Frank. I'm going to tell you that right now, Frank. That's wrong. Anybody could be a sergeant, but to be a real leader, you're a non-commissioned officer.
Okay.
Remember that.
Okay.
You can wear the stripes, but can you do the job?
I agree. Because I used to be, I didn't word it that way, but I guess me coming up, I used to sit there and say, just because you got them stripes on, don't make you a fucking man. Because I used to have to tell that shit to sergeants, and I used to mouth them. That was my biggest thing. Probably my downfall was just my mouth. I probably could have seen E6, but my mouth got me in fucking places where it got me in good places and bad places at the same time. But yeah, just because you wear those fucking stripes doesn't make you a man. And one of the things that I loved about just being a leader was just being able to teach somebody and being able to make a difference. And I still have guys to this day, they hit me and they're like, look, man, no matter what, you always had our back. And probably the person that I learned from the most was my platoon sergeant. I call him JP. We called him JP. But Sergeant First Class Parlor. He was straight by the book. He was an asshole, but he treated you like a man. And that was one of the biggest things that I took from, and probably one of my one pillars that I held all my soldiers to. As long as you act like a man, I'm going to treat you as such, because we all put on our pants the same way in the fucking morning.
Yep.
Act like a man, you get treated like a fucking man. And I literally found that to be the most successful thing ever in my military career, especially dealing with soldiers, treating soldiers like fucking men. And then if you act like a boy, cool, I'm going to take your time. I'm going to find other ways than just smoking the shit out you and doing physical retraining and shit like that. Like, make it worth valuable. And like you said, mentoring, bringing somebody under your wing, because I knew that's what I needed.
Right.
And a lot of these guys, you don't realize that in the first 4 years, I'll even say the first 6 years, I know E6s that haven't matured until they're a good year after being an E6. Because you figure you get somebody in the military, hell, that came in maybe 17, 18 years old to make 5 and 3. That's easy. To be a sergeant by 21, by 23, you're an E6. And to a lot of people that don't understand, being an E6, a staff sergeant in the military, that's like pretty much you're on your own. You're an adult now. You know what I'm saying? You're an adult. But at 23, having a lot of responsibility, hell, being responsible probably for people that are 20, late 20s, early 30s. I had some dudes in basic training that was 29, 30, 31 years old.
Yeah.
So it's a whole different mindset. But
I got one more.
Yeah, of course. We got time.
I had I think my
Joe's like,
biggest-
yeah, no, we don't.
Yeah. The
Did
best
my
thing I
face
did as
say
a leader,
that?
as a junior leader. This is me as a junior leader. I did something I wasn't supposed to do, but it turned out to be right. I know. Watch this. So we had sergeant's time. Okay. And if those of you don't know what sergeant's time is we're locked down, we're with soldiers, and we're training one-on-one, making sure everyone's proficient at their job. Well, I was assigned as a brand new squad leader. I had two specialists. They were brand new leaders. So I had to come up with something to help them become good leaders. And these two were just like me when I started. They were 19 years old as leaders. So I said, hey, let's go. We're leaving. So we left. And I told my battle buddy, my other squad leader, said, don't worry, we'll be back. So we went off post and went to the bowling alley. And two teams. Well, my squad, we had 9. So I'm sorry. We had odd numbers. I made myself an even number. So we started bowling. Little did they know that I knew how to bowl. I'm proficient. But these guys, they just like to throw the ball. But there were a bunch of individuals. Oh, let's see how hard I can throw this ball. Little did they know, after the 5th frame, they were like, hey, Saul, what's that? I was like, oh, that's the scoreboard. Because I had Alpha team and Bravo team. And they noticed that Bravo team was winning. And then all of a sudden, things changed. Then I found my junior leaders telling these guys, hey, man, make sure you do this and do that. Now they're coaching. They don't know shit about bowling, but they're coaching. And say, dude, we got to beat them. Now it's a competition. Now it's a team competition.
There you go. Hell yeah.
So at the end, of course, I was in Team Bravo, and I bowled good, and we won. So that's right, Joe. I'm gonna take you to bowling alley one day, like, whip your ass. But
You, my friend, would be shocked at how that shit would turn out if you take me to a bowling alley.
you mean you get shot? Yes. But anyways, so bottom
I
line
just want to
is,
be there. I don't bowl. I just want to be there to talk the shit and drink.
no. Bottom line is that they realize in order to succeed, you got to work as a team.
Of course. Oh yeah.
And they took that back. And even though I get a phone call and say, hey, man, First Sergeant needs you. Where are you? And then that's when I'm like, oh, by the way, we're not there.
So you take it as a team. That teamwork. That teamwork.
So I take the ass to him, but we didn't drink or nothing like that. You know, that's one thing that we made sure we didn't do. But we went back just in time for the end of formation to go home. But it was a lesson learned, and they took that, and I was like, that's what I expect y'all to do. You know, and they took it and they winged it, and by all means, it's pretty cool, man. That's at least one thing I did good as a junior leader.
Hell yeah.
Everything else is all fucked up. But anyways,
we learned how to fly. But I think we're definitely gonna finish this up. We're definitely gonna have a part 2. I think we're gonna try and get a couple other veterans on here. See if we can kind of do like a whole like veteran session, because I want to get into like mental health as well. Because I feel like there's still a bad stigma with mental health, and even inside of the military, especially in the Army, like when soldiers actually try and get their mental health taken care of, and the stigma, the bad stigma that actually coincides with it, as far as within your unit and stuff like that. But yeah, that's for another time. With that being said, we'll go in rotation. I don't know, Ovi, if I guess every week we do a song I do a song. Joe, he's been picking out a song. I don't know if you've been listening, if you thought of a song, but I'm picking "We Don't Care" by Kanye West from the College Dropout album. I will never post anything above above late registration. Late registration. No, I'm sorry, graduation. That's where I stopped with the Kanye albums. No, I lied. Twisted Dark Fantasy. But anyways, "We Don't Care," Kanye West, College Dropout. I felt this was necessary because like when you hear the song, it's just like, yo, we don't care whatever you think about us, whatever you think about us as Black people, as people of color. Like, we're not supposed to make it, but we're gonna do everything in our power to be the best that we can. This is when Kanye was actually speaking a good word. And had some good shit to say. So make sure you guys listen to "We Don't Care" this week. Take a time out. Listen to that. Anybody have something for in rotation this week?
Yeah, I actually am very excited about mine.
Ooh.
Aerosmith's greatest hits album.
Okay.
It's if you like Aerosmith at all, or if you lived during the 90s,
Yep.
or the 80s, or the 70s,
Or
you'll know all the fucking songs.
yeah.
And
I should've
and
met
I'll
Steven
tell you
Tyler.
what, there's a couple of them in particular, Living on the Edge. One of the great songs of all time. And especially poignant song now in 2020. But Aerosmith's greatest hits, What It Takes. I mean, dude, literally every hit that these guys ever had, all A Dream On, Same Old Song and Dance, Sweet Emotion, Walk
Sweet
This Way,
Emotion,
dude,
yeah.
Back in the Saddle, Draw the Line. I mean, this album is. I remember I broke up with a girl, and I was the only thing I listened to, dude. Come Together, Walking in the Sand, an amazing album. And if I'm not mistaken, on the Greatest Hits double album, they actually even included the stupid song from Armageddon.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
I don't want to close my eyes. That one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. See, I remember, let's see here. I love Sweet Emotion, Draw the Line, and what was the Rocks. Last Child.
Nice.
There.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Funny story. Do you know
Little
the song "Dude Looks Like a Lady"?
Yeah.
Do you know Steven Tyler wrote that about Joe Perry's girlfriend?
Damn, I did not know that.
If you listen to the
hilarious.
lyrics, dude, it's just a dude talking shit. He hated her so much, and she wore such heavy makeup that dude looks like a lady. Hated her
we
guts.
can't even say
but
that
yeah.
about fucking Melania. Damn. She doesn't look like a dude. Oh, wow.
Well, I guess I gotta pick a song, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you probably won't know, but it's from Lauro Rodriguez. Says "Ven, demórame otra vez," means "come devour me again." And he's
Okay. I can read between the lines.
Have there, it's a salsa.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I might have to go play this after this. Go walk into the bedroom with that playing. Hey.
Gobble me whole.
Yeah, right, Joe.
I'm gonna type that in right now onto my computer. Hopefully, nothing bad happens.
You got a virus.
Oh shit. That's
Your whole computer shuts down.
Caught a whole virus on it.
God damn it, Ovi.
Yeah.
Not again.
Not again. That's funny. All right. Well, man, it's been fun. I guess I got some final words. Real quick question off the hip. If there was a purge, would you purge? Yes or no?
You have to.
You have to? Okay, yes.
It's either purge or be purged. I mean, I figure, look, if a civil war breaks out this November, I'm going out. I'm heading out.
Oh, me too.
I'm heading out in the streets. I don't know what side I'll be on, but I'll be on somebody's side.
I'm on my side.
Maybe whoever's winning.
I will be guarding my perimeter. I do got cameras 360 degrees.
See, yeah, exactly.
So I got my camera, I got my monitors. I'm looking. So
set up some C-wire. I'm good. I know where I can get
about
some.
all that, but they always say never walk on the grass.
See,
saying,
I'm definitely purging.
Be like Ahmed the terrorist.
Oh my god.
Oh shit. I know I'm definitely purging. If it were to happen, I'm definitely purging. Not a lot, but I think I'd be more on the defensive side. I think I'd be like worried about like who's coming for me. So like that would have to just inquire. That would have to, but more
some
defensive.
minor purging.
Some minor purging.
A little
defensive
bit of purging. Just a touch.
November 3rd.
Hey,
just
I'm purging.
Safe.
Yeah, I was gonna say November. Hey, go out and vote. Everybody go out and vote November 3rd. Be safe. Go vote. Vote for something. That's our little. I'll pitch you off shortly. Little, hoorah motivation to vote.
Just take me out the camera. Yeah, why don't you?
I got you
There you
buried
go,
right
Frank.
now. I even threw Frank on top of you there.
Oh, jeez. Let's see here. What else? Trick or treat. I saw a dope ass trick or treat hack, like out of PVC pipe and shit. Like it's like a nice little angle. You shoot the little piece of candy and it flies out. I meant to send that list. If you guys want to send some candy to us, that I'll pitch you off shortly. Go ahead, cash app us. I'll pitch you off shortly.
Nice play, Rob.
Dollar sign. I'll pitch you off shortly. We'll trick or treat. You can give us some candy. Other than that, I think I wanted. I know this is probably going to sound weird, but we need another podcast. But I was looking. There's not really a true like in the shit fatherhood podcast where it's like fathers like really nitty gritty talking about being fathers. Like, yeah, my son tried to wipe his ass and got shit everywhere like this past week.
Oh my
or
God.
Like, how do you? I don't know. How do you
have common sense? Don't change the diaper at night in the dark, or else you get pissed on.
See, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Or like I feel like I can't express to my son that like, well, I do, but like, sometimes where they piss you off and you snap and then you like feel really bad and then you gotta go coddle with them. And then I'm like, shit, who can I really explain this that will like really get it? Or you know what I mean? Just like there's some shit that I do as a father. And I'm like, shit, I can't believe I actually did that as a dad. And then I'm starting to realize that really, like my dad and my parents, they didn't know shit. They were just putting it together as they were going on. So, there's no true.
I've snapped at my kids a couple times since school's back in. I'm just a little fucking aggravated. You know what I mean? And little things start like they'll piss me off now.
So
so when your kid looks at you sad because you yelled at him, and you're like, oh, I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
And now. Anytime if I discipline them in any way, my daughter looks at me. She goes, "Oh, you're just joking."
Oh, jeez. Oh,
I am. Yeah.
See, I get mad. Well, I'm scared now because like anytime I'll be like Donnie, and I'll just go man, what are you doing here? But like, I'm like, dude, I don't pop you like that. Like, stop flinching. You're gonna make people thinking that you're getting haymakers.
Yeah, dude, I hate dude. Right when you put your hand up and your kid flinches in front of people, and you're like, "You little fucker, dude! Come on, that shit ain't. That shit ain't, especially because there's people around."
Exactly. So yeah. So, anyways, I think I want to get a group of fathers that are just in all different age ranges. Like not like I have a 5-year-old, whoever has kids that are almost my age. Like just all fathers.
The best one. Get it from different nationalities.
Exactly.
So know the difference.
Exactly.
Oh, that's great.
See, you get the differences. See, here we go. We're plotting.
Here we do some little bit of microaggression.
See,
all right. Yeah.
Look at that. Look,
Obi's really got a lot of good ideas.
We're cooking over here. See what happens when you come over and see him. I hate his mom. He started crying.
Bro, let me tell you something. My
ex-wife is true.
My ex-wife is so out of the picture, and my wife adopted my kids, and so it's always a fine line where it's like, the kids are like, "Hey, have you heard from our mother?" And I'm like, "Your mother's a fucking loser." No, I haven't, but I'll certainly let you know if I do.
And on that note, if you guys enjoyed this kind of content, if you guys want to see us do a father podcast, definitely let us know. Hey, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. Oh, eventually we're going to be not phasing out Facebook, but we're going to be going over to YouTube predominantly just because it's more, I don't know, I don't get yelled at as much as YouTube, even though YouTube just yelled at me for a past video. And then also I'm going to be launching a Discord server. And yeah, so that way, like, we can really like interact and engage with people and all that other good techie shit. Try and get away from like Facebook's like algorithms and censorship and all that other stuff. Try and be a little bit more free in our doings. But until then, make sure you guys also check out Ovi's podcast, All Four Downs, on Wednesday nights, and then
the HHW show on. Matter of fact, tomorrow night at 8:00, we have the prediction show. Which Hell in a Cell, if those of you that follow WWE, Hell in a Cell is happening this Sunday. And my boys, tomorrow, we're going to predict who's going to win, who's going to lose. And, of course, as always, I'm always the champ, right, Frank? Back at you.
Well, it's been a pleasure. I
appreciate it, man. Thank you, guys. I had so much fun here, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're definitely going to do a part 2 of this again. Definitely dig deep some more. hands down record-breaking episode as the longest episode here. Yo, Joe, I don't know. Like, we just keep busting and busting.
Yeah, this might be the longest podcast anyone's done on this network.
You know,
to date.
fucking, I don't know. And people actually listen. Like, people, and that's the thing. Like, people are engaging, listening. Frank, you're the real MVP. Like, I wish we can give you like a badge, like VIP MVP. I'll piss you off shortly.
Oh, don't worry, man. I'll give him a badge. Don't worry.
There we go. I still got your shirt.
You went bold on me, man.
See.
If you haven't seen, follow Frank Cuesta on his Facebook. You'll see his picture. He got no hair no more, man.
Oh, Frank went bald?
Yeah, man.
Oh, man. Okay, we got to check that out. Well, hey, Frank, we
want to see the future? That's the man.
That's the man. Well, hey,
God,
Frank, we appreciate you. All you Iffy fans, we appreciate you guys. We got to get out of here. It's been Rob Benjamin, Joe Aguirre, Ovi Minez. You guys have a great night. Piss you out shortly. Peace.
One day. I'm going to get it right one day. Hey, remember how many times you used to do the messages for for your voicemail? It goes something like this. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for locking into another episode of I'll Piss You Off Shortly. This is the podcast where we debate everyday issues, pushing your thought process beyond what's normal. The topics discussed here are meant to be intense, promote growth, and at times may have you feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Me too, a little bit. We may not always agree, and we will more than likely have varied opinions. But with that being said, I can't promise to be your favorite podcaster. Neither do I want to. But I can promise to be transparent, fair, and open-minded. So please, if you think you've got the stamina, passion to debate, analyze, and challenge the normal, please take a number. I promise you, I'll piss you off shortly. Hey, mama, I got a podcast. Hey, I got a podcast.